You know what I mean? It's something that you may have to, that people have to face from time to time, depending on where your environment is. You know what I mean? So,
So
yeah,
you,
salute to
so
Simon.
you just, so you decided to do a Martin Luther instead of a Malcolm X that day. Is that what you're telling me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It wasn't, you know what I mean? And also, you got to know your environment. If you are in the middle of a huge downtown area, you know what I'm saying, and you are in a in a major American city, you know what I mean? If you kind of act out a certain way, or they, you know what I'm saying, they could try to twist it. You know what I mean? And then when the cops come there or law enforcement come there, they can just twist the story and make it look like you was trying to kill everybody up in there. You know what I'm saying? All you was doing was just trying to defend yourself. So, or just say how you feel. So, yeah, man, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm very aware of my surroundings, and I know when the deck is against me, and I know when the deck is for me. Now, we in the middle of the hood, or we in my neighborhood or something like that, or we around my folks or my peoples, and I have an advantage here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're the home team.
Yeah, if I'm in a corporate area, ain't no advantage there. They got all the advantages. You know what I'm saying? And they can always twist things. So I'm always aware of that, for real.
Okay. We're gonna still go around the block. Welcome, Simon. Thank you for coming. But we're gonna keep the same rotation, and Simon, you can finish off last. Gary, what is colorism to you? And tell me of a negative experience that made you experience colorism.
Colorism to me is primarily happens in the Black community because we have so many different shades. And one of the first ones was one of my first experiences was back when I was in school, in like grade school. A lot of girls, they wanted the lighter skinned guys, and as you see, I'm a darker skinned guy. So that was one of my first experiences dealing with colorism. And yeah, and but as far as others, as I got into the business world, there was some of that there also, because I think sometimes when you come across other Black people in the business world, and you're darker than them, they may try to, they may be something against, they may hold something against you, want to keep you down, especially if, you're just there to work, right? You're just there to do your job, and sometimes they just hate on you, not only because of how you look, but how well you do your job, and I've experienced that too.
I hear you. Smitty, what is colorism to you? And tell me about a time that you experienced a negative experience with colorism.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, Gracie. Probably not that guy for that. I've always, for the most part, been reassured, and I was given affirmation on all of the great qualities of having my melatonin complexion, right? My melanated complexion. I personally have only really dealt with like maybe a spat of racism here and there. Yeah, I've been called the hard ER. Yeah, of course. About 2-3 times. I think a lot of this has to do with where a person is raised, where the area you're in. Again, I come from a place, out here in the DMV. We're like real deal. We're like New York Junior type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like a small, like, everything is out here. It's a melting pot. You got your East Indians, you got your Asians, your Jewish community, redneck white, bougie white, hood black, bougie black, you name it, Spanish, all of it. Everything's out here. Be honest with you, the only thing that I've dealt with as far as that go within my own community is honestly, I could say jealousy through my upbringing, me being well taken care of, them saying I'm always set right. I have a strong family dynamic. I never really went through too much of like the whole light skin, dark skin shit. And the reason why I'm saying this right now tonight is to also remind us that there are demographics of us out there that are just like me. Not all of us go through that shit. Not everybody got some hardcore, fucked up ass, nah. I mean, I was primarily raised around colored people and whites, but majority of the places that I lived in, it was so many of us. Let's just say maybe the whites knew better. They knew better. Like they're not they're not strong enough in numbers. So I mean, me as a person who has dealt with that. Now, if you want to talk about actual colorism to land it here, I would say, all right, man, the whole light skin, dark skin. I have had times where I've recognized maybe a chick chose my homeboy who got the curly hair and the green eyes, over me and my curly and dark brown. Right? I got you. But I've never really had too many issues as far as racism and or colorism to where it's been something alarming in my life. I'm going to tell you what I've dealt with in my community, like I said, right here, and for real, I'm landing it right here. The most is, again, growing up with two parents. I have got more shit because I got both my parents and they're not pipeheads. Dad ain't an alcoholic. Nobody's angry in the house. When you come to my crib, you smell dinner cooking on Sunday. Yes, you hear the game playing in the background and it's peaceful. I've gone through more shit with my own, calling me spoiled. You need to go back to that bougie ass house with your parents and everything else. I've gotten that, but as far as color wise, I've always gotten praise for this Hennessy Mocha right here. I get nothing but praise for that.
Wait, what was it? Hennessy Mocha?
Yeah, that's that Hennessy Mocha you looking at. But I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
Okay, well, Simon, you answer the question, and then we're gonna address the comment on the board, and then we're gonna definitely address Travel One's rebuttal. Simon, how are you tonight? And what say you? Talk to me. I mean, you live in the UK, so you're gonna bring a whole different perspective to this show tonight. Tell me what colorism is to you, and give me a negative experience where you possibly experienced colorism.
Yo, there's no such thing as colorism. I mean, this is a coin that we like turn around and go, okay, like we're gonna make a conversation out of it. We're trying to be journalists out here, and we're not qualified, man. Like, for real. Like, there's no such thing as colorism.
How can you say that?
Because we have many generations upon generations, and we don't understand the conflict in the sense of just a basic term where it comes down to just us having a sort of conversation. Like, I could look at you and go, oh, what do you look like? But that don't make sense, because I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna judge a person based on the fact that how they look, in the same way that someone can't.
Yeah, but you can't deny that it doesn't exist. To say that there's no colorism, well, you know what? We won't even get into it, because I'm even going to bring up how colorism came about and how it started. But go ahead, Simon. Go ahead, keep going.
Don't get in your feelings. I'm just saying.
I'm not in my. Trust me, I'm not in my feelings. You're in the UK, so it's to be expected that you would say something like that. But it's okay. Go ahead.
Why is it, all right, so why is it to be expected? Just to clarify.
Because it seems like sometimes you live in a bubble and you don't know what's really going on in this world.
So
you know, you live in a whole different world.
what kind of world am I living in?
You're in a sheltered world.
Just because I'm in the UK?
Yeah, because for you to even say that there's no colorism and it doesn't exist, that is indicative alone saying that you're out of touch. You're out of touch.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so with that being said, Marriage, Politics, and Sports says colorism is still alive, but is kept alive mostly by black women. As a darker skinned man, I have never had an overt colorism hold me back. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and rebuttal with Travel Ones. And of course, Simon drops off because he got in his feelings, but that's okay. It happens sometimes, guys. Not everybody's going to embrace me every night. And then Travel One says, colorism is not kept alive by black women. Of course, a black man with low self-esteem will say that. Blame the black woman for everything wrong in their lives. Hey, that you know what I'm saying? She's just doing her rebuttal. And but let me get into it. Let's get into it before we all start dropping off. And Dragonfly, thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Let's again, my number one go-to website that Embrace goes to is verywellmind.com. Colorism finds its roots in racism because without racism, someone's value and perceived superiority wouldn't be based on the color of their skin. Colleen Campbell, PhD and a candidate in sociology and African studies at Princeton University, noted, when we think of racism in the US, especially, we think of anti-black attitudes or institutional processes that entrench whiteness at the top of the social hierarchy. However, furthermore, the preference for light skin tones is a straight result of slavery. And since there are many methods people have used and still use to determine someone's value in society, colorism refers to discrimination based simply on their skin color, skin tone, which it may be Hennessy, mocha, caramel, dark skin, blue, black, light skin. I mean, it's just so many different shades. If you guys saw my thumbnail, you would have seen it. Colorism disadvantages dark-skinned people while privileging those with lighter skin. Research has linked colorism to smaller incomes, lower marriage rates, longer prison times, and fewer job prospects for dark-skinned people. So to say that it doesn't exist, it's kind of ignorant, if I may say. During the enslavement of black people, those with lighter skin tones, the children of slaves and their masters, did receive preferential treatment. One of the reasons for this favoritism is because black people with lighter skin have more so-called European features and closer proximity to whiteness. Additionally, we know that historically light-skinned blacks engaged in the opportunity hoarding practices to keep dark-skinned poor blacks from their social network, says Dr. Campbell. So that was a lot. It actually stemmed from slavery. I mean, we need to talk about this. We need to learn this, because the biggest thing that I learned or have known is that colorism just doesn't happen in the black community. It happens in all minority communities. It happens in the Hispanic community. I have cousins as dark, and then you got me, and we're all Dominican, and we're Hispanic. But according to some people, you know what I'm saying, that's not black. But if you look up your history of Dominicans, but we're not going to go into that right now. But the fact remains is that this all stemmed for that. And we as minorities and the melanated community have kept it alive. In Smitty's case, his family hasn't kept it alive. I mean, I could give you perfect examples. My mom, her only reason to come to the hospital to see when I gave birth to my son was to see what his nose looked like. Not to see her grandson be born. She wanted to see the texture of his hair and how his nose was going to look, to see if he was going to be close to her side of the family or my husband at the time side of the family. So they are very, very, colorism is very, very well alive in the Hispanic community, in the Asian community, in all minority communities. It's just not the Black community. So I want to make that very clear. Okay? Okay, I got Chocolate Earth coming on to the panel. Thank you. I appreciate you coming up here. How you doing?
Gracie.
Yes.
Let's get the guest in the building first. I'm gonna say something briefly, and then we can go ahead and let it wrap up.
Chocolate Earth, are you there? Oh, he dropped off. Go ahead, Smitty.
Okay. I think that's a she, if I'm not mistaken. But okay. So when you're talking about
The Chocolate Earth is a woman. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. It's more about how we adjust and adapt to the trauma. See, the thing is that you're talking about this light skin thing, and I spoke about this on the panel previously to a degree. When I'm speaking about the pain and the whatever has been inflicted upon us, the trauma, right, that we've had to endure, it shifted. Now, one thing that we're really good at, just like with economics, right? We've had to shift. We've had to adapt, mold, change, and adjust to the economic aspect of what goes on around us. So the way colorism was back in those slavery days, it's not like that now. And it wasn't like that in the 60s, 50s, 70s. You want to go through that whole like civil rights, Black righteous era? Cool. It wasn't like that then either. How it is now is exactly what we adjust to. At one point, being light-skinned had more of the benefit of literally being able to be on a porch that had shade, and you just might get a tip of some real actual lemonade that's not spat at. Cool. All right. Then it shifts. We get to a point where we're in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and all of that, right? It's no longer being on the porch. It's more so about a mating thing. It's more so about a, let's say, Hollywood attraction. Okay? We shift, we get a little bit further now with, let's say we're here where we are now. It's more so about, you know, a generational aesthetic. They want the aesthetics of a certain look to be flowing through the chain, especially if you got that family that's like everybody's light skinned with good hair. You can't come in with that nappy ass black ass child looking like Kodak Black. You just can't do that.
But isn't that racist? Is it among your own? Isn't
that
how can we expect them to not be racist against us when we're racist amongst each other?
Gracie, what that is you have to recognize that sometimes those who have been so traumatized and afflicted by something that truly flipped their world. We once upon a time went from a place where all we saw was us. Now we have to adjust to being around different ones. So what'll happen is you'll have those who will go ahead and they will. You'll have some of us who will actually reenact that same pain, that same trauma. You know what it's like? It's like the chick, and I'm gonna say it. I don't know who you are out there. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you. But the chick that like loves painful sex. They want you to choke them real bad. They want you to do a lot of like real painful shit to them during sex. Why? Because their orgasm comes from reliving the real life inflicted pain and trauma that they went through. Once upon a time, that girl that asked you to choke her, once upon a time, she actually was being choked while being raped. Some people live their trauma out different ways. See, these are all the things that, you know, a lot of people tiptoe around and or stay away from because it's too touchy.
But we do
That's
touchy
what
here.
I see taking place with us when it comes to the lashing out of complexion, hair, or anything else. That's what I see more than anything. But I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out, Gracie.
Gary, do you have anything to add to this?
What I would say is, you know, when it comes to, well, clearly there's a distinction between colorism and racism, and yeah, it's not only within the Black community. I mean, as you said, it's in the, you know, it's in the Spanish community also, and it's in the Asian community too. And actually, you know, in dealing with them, there are Asian people that are dark that you don't even know, right? So what we always see is always the light-skinned ones. Like there's, you know, and when I say like people, you know, people from China and Japan and Taiwan, you got Black Asians, like literally Black Asians, but they don't show that. So let me go back to, I think when we're dealing with colorism here, I guess particularly within our Black community, there is a I guess a dislike or a racism, and yes, I think it does come from, you know, slavery and that mental conditioning. If anybody has read the Willie Lynch story, you know what I'm talking about. So it becomes a generational thing of how you treat each other and stuff like that. And it's just historically, it's been shown that when it comes to the darker color, it's, you know, dark is bad, right? Dark is not good. So if you're light skinned, you know, you're a better person, or you look better, and that's what has been perpetuated. And some people, they buy into it. Other people don't buy into it. But now that we're in an age where we have media, and you know, we're dealing with movies, television, and all of these things, we see what's put in front of our face. So, you know, it's kind of like when you're growing up, and the girls who see, you know, they see the skinny model. They want to be skinny, and not understanding that, hey, you know, being skinny is not the way. You need to like eat right and properly and sort of be healthy. But they want to starve themselves. Right, so I think when it comes to what we're dealing with here in colorism, it's something that we have to understand what has happened and how we deal with it. And yeah, it could be traumatic for some people, but I mean, I think in this day and age, moving forward, we have to see it for what it is. We have to know how to overcome and deal with it, whether it's in our personal life or whether it's in our business life.
I mean, I hear you, and this is why I'm bringing this to the table, because we need to learn from it. So I'm gonna introduce Chocolate Earth, and then my fam from the Black Unfiltered Man, our Pain, is here. So Chocolate Earth, welcome to the show. Thank you for your support. What
Thank
say
you.
you? What
Hey,
is
how y'all
colorism?
doing?
What is colorism to you? And if you've had a negative experience, bring it to the table so we can look at different perspectives of what people have been through.
Well, I appreciate you letting me up. Shout out to everybody. I hope I'm clear. Can you guys
Yes.
hear me okay? Awesome. Great topic, I want to say. And yes, I have dealt with colorism all my life. And it is bigger than just one community, to what you said, Grace. It is in every community. And if you are, I'm a history buff, so go beyond slavery. Let's put that on the table. There's so much more to us than that. So colorism has been a part of human history. You can go with the Egyptians, you can go with Zaranthians, you can go with even speaking in the Bible, you can talk about different religions, what is put in front of us as far as all of it, not just media, but what is going on in your home, what is going on at school, what is going on at work, what is going on when you walk down the street every day. As I grew up in a Black neighborhood, majority, poor whites, poor Blacks, working class people, right? And what I found interesting was my interactions with colorism came from both sides, Black women and Black men, right? Especially Black men. And I love y'all to death. However, just as was stated earlier, we have a tension to do the Beyonce, Kelly Rowland comparisons, right? So Beyonce is at a higher level than Kelly Rowland. Why? Because of what? Money? No, we don't talk about that. And I find it interesting that we can say, even any of us who grew up in the 90s know who was on TV, right? I didn't see a lot of Hispanic girls on TV unless they were, they was rough and gruff, or, they was this and that. Same with the Black girls, we got positivity later, like people like Brandy, but there wasn't any light-skinned girls who were put on pedestals on TV, light-skinned Black women, not until later. That came later. Yeah. And even now, if you look at the top actresses, and I'm using entertainment because we take a lot from it. Art imitates life. And I remember going to different jobs because of the way I speak, but the minute they saw the way I looked, the interaction was totally different, right? And I know we know people like this. I know we know and have gone through this, or know people who've gone through this. The light-skinned pretty boy compared to the dark-skinned brother with, the box, your kid and play setup, right? So it's all of these little things. Pretty brown eyes. If your eyes were light brown, you were more attractive than someone who had dark eyes. Us as human beings, we find value in what other human beings find value in. If I was to ask the Black men on this panel and in the chat, who is your comparison as a Black woman that you would be more willing to deal with off rip? Because to sit here and say, we don't base how we deal with people based off how they look, that's asinine. And I think it's disingenuous, because we know that is the case. That's why we have these type of conversations. Because we know that even with Black men, there's a difference. The Black men that were promoted as the good Black guy, it's not the same than it was in the 90s, right? It is unfortunate, but this will always be a part of classism, humanism, socialism. It's a part of the makeup. We deal with each other based on, one, how we look, two, how we sound, and how we act with one another. Colorism will never go away because you have people who still promote it. So,
well, deeper than that, right? What I think we also have to remember, that was some good points given. So I appreciate you. Let's go to Gracie. You have Dominican.
Arpain.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna.
Gracie,
I was just
real
writing
quick.
something down, but go ahead. I mean,
Yeah. Real quick, we're gonna go ahead and get to you next, Arpain. You in the building. Salute to you, brother. Thank you for pulling up. Gracie, for example, you being you have Dominican in you. Of course, definitely African American, but I have Cuban in me. We know about these things when it comes to darker Cubans are treated like shit in comparison to the lighter ones. Same thing with the darker Dominicans. If you go to the
I know black. Have you heard Dominicans say, I know black?
All day.
I'm
They
Dominican.
got the whole bleaching system and everything. We know about the baseball player, Puerto Rican, and all that shit. But my point is, even if you go to Hinduism, right? I'm trying to be quick so we can let our pain get in here. Even if you go to Hinduism, when it comes to the whole like reaching the state of nirvana, as they would say, in order to quote the ones closer to Godhead, okay, which is an elephant with like 8 arms, weird shit, but they believe that the lighter East Indians. So yeah, those East Indians that you see in like 7-Eleven, those are the lowest grade. Now I want you to think about how they treat us when we come into the store, generally in the hood, right? But they're the lowest grade. Back where they're from, they can't even get certain career positions because of the complexion. And some of these places go that bad. So only thing I wanted to say is I do get where, the Sister Chocolate is coming from as far as colorism is a real thing, because I would say what sparked my mind is it's not even just us. There are many other cultures, many other, backgrounds that go through the same dark skin, lighter thing. They go through the same hair color, texture, wideness of the nose, all of that shit. It's the reason why. It's the reason why Napoleon. It's the reason I'm landing it right here. It's the reason why Napoleon knocked the nose off that Sphinx. These things have been going on for so long. It's the reason why he flew that plane across that Sphinx in Egypt. Okay. So with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Chocolate, go ahead, respond real quick, sister. But we want to get brother Arpain in here because it's his turn. Go ahead.
Well, what I wanted just to add to is where I live in an area that it is a lot of Navajo, a lot of Hopi. And we have to also remember, and not to take anything away from anyone's culture and ethnic background, but our DNA, you can find any of us and how we all look all over the world. Grace looks like my aunt, right? So again, it's tribal. It's collectivism. It's being a part of something. And that's what we continue to hear. So yes, I completely agree. And even with that Vietnam, you have your darker Vietnamese to your lighter Vietnamese. You see the difference. And to your point, real quick, Smitty, when we talk about East Indians, look at Bollywood. That'll tell you right there where those levels are. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank y'all.
Okay. Welcome to the show, my dear. I'm so honored to have you here. I don't have a clip on you, but you're good. You're safe over here.
Listen, I'm honored to come over here. I'm glad you got this going on. Listen, it's subtle for me. And I made a statement that I think black women in America keep colorism alive more than men, only because of the way it affects them. Not that colorism doesn't exist. I'm not even going to argue those points, but everything, a pretty privilege exists. A handsome man, whether he's light or dark, has more leeway than a person who's ugly. And being a non-select guy myself, it just depends on how it impacts you. it's funny. My situation when I was coming up in my formative years with ladies, for example, for a man, I couldn't get any real play from the darker skinned women, but light skinned women were always all over me. You know what I'm saying? And since I was a man, I didn't give a shit about colorism. I was just going where the play was. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, I wish I had that clip.
so the point is that I know it exists, but what keeps it alive is how it impacts people, right? So I'm not going to attack or because somebody made a comment. I'm not going to disparage anybody who feels personally about the colorism situation. All I'm just trying to say is this energy, I hate to say this, but it's kind of energy wasted. Because what you're talking about is battling human nature, because you're not going to change it. People make distinctions based on all kinds of shit. How thick your lips are, how big your nose is, how kinky your hair is, how light you might be. I mean, I know about apartheid. I'm old enough to understand what we had to do to help them free Nelson Mandela. And what's my name? Gandhi and the colorism. They had those shade things, right? Shade was everything in South Africa. But I'm saying, how does it impact you today? How does it stop you from getting where you need to go? You know, those are the kind of things I try to concentrate on without trying to deny that it's real. How does it stop you from getting what you want? I think that's more important, because some of it is false evidence appearing real. Because if you're qualified, maybe one door is closed, but another door might be open, because you're not everybody you come across doesn't have colorism on their sleeve. So if you're only worrying about that, you see colorism everywhere. And if it stops you from progressing, then that's an issue. Because if you have your knowledge, you've had all these kind of things, your experiences, you could overcome that shit. That's what I believe. And I don't want to be naive about it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. But the most important thing is, how does it stop you or impact you from getting along with your life? I'll just land it there.
Hey,
But
hold on, real quick, briefly, brother R. Payne. Before we get too far,
Yes.
I like what you said. I would like to ask you this: could you give us like just 2 and/or 3 max examples of how it affects our sisters more than the brothers, and how the sisters more than the brothers keep it going? Could you just give me just some basic examples that we all see that I could get from?
Okay, yeah. I mean, to me, it's an easy thing, because I have women in my family, and I have men in my family, and the conversation tells me they think about it more. I have very rarely talked to men in our general conversations where we talk about colorism. I have a lot of light-skinned buddies, and I know they get played more than
Guys
I
don't
do.
talk about pretty boys.
No,
We don't sit amongst ourselves and talk about pretty boys.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying they don't talk about it, but the impact is different, right? I had a couple of light-skinned brothers. I mean, I'm in a frat. I had a lot of light-skinned brothers and dark-skinned brothers. The impact, the knowledge of that, the discussions of that is not whether the darker-skinned guys feel inferior. They just say, hey, man, you know, kudos to you, you know, because you can get a little bit of, you know, the chicks are coming up to you. We had one brother, he was knocking them down 1 and 2 at a time. We used to say, let me hang out with you just in case some shit fell off the table. I can get you. You know, so we didn't talk about it as a detriment. Look at me. I'm not a even light skin, dark skin. I'm not a non-select guy, but I never had an issue with it. Not just for this panel. But I had a lot of light skinned brothers and friends. We just don't get around the campfire and talk about that shit. When we're passing the Doochie and shit, we don't talk about, oh man, how depleted we are about the light skinned actor or the dark skinned actor, the light skinned sister. It doesn't impact us the same. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I think women internalize things different than men. We're not the same.
Hey, brother Payne, would you say that like how you said? Because, you know, from what I was listening and gathering, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I'm not perfect.
You were saying that It wasn't that you didn't get play. You did get play.
Right.
But it was more so from the light-skinned chicks. The dark-skinned chicks didn't really, you know what I'm saying, at that time, right? They ain't really, you know what I'm saying, flirt with you too much. Could that have been just maybe at that time what we see continuously throughout our communities, maybe just a trend? Maybe that was just part of the trend, because I can myself say, as a darker complected brother, I've definitely had more than my fair share of red bones being like, okay, I see you chocolate almondy and all this other shit. I've gotten all kinds of dark candy sweet, you know, comparisons, you know what I'm saying? In reference to the skin tone. But yes, it did come generally from those who were, I would say, 2 shades and up above me. Okay, so would you say that's more so a colorism thing, or would you say that that was just black folks following a fad?
I think it could be a combination of both. Now, let me tell you, I had a couple of chocolate chips. Now, I mean, I don't want to say I didn't, but the truth of the matter is, the reason why I had more light-skinned women is because they gave me more play, like I said before. But that was back, I mean, shit, man, I'm a brother of the 80s, man. 70s and 80s. I went to college in the 70s. So colorism is definitely a deal much more than it is now. But we didn't, you know, as a guy, I didn't play on it. I just went where it was what you could path of least resistance. I had you know, but the sisters who were darker, they tended to want lighter skinned guys back then. And it was a reverse. But I had a couple of chocolate triple A's who just like me for me, because I'm one of those kind of guys, you know. But before I go anyway, I'm gonna just show you guys something. That's my wife. You know, so she got white hair naturally, but what I'm saying, she's lighter, and I met her in the 80s, right? But if she was dark, and the same woman, I think I would have married her anyway. It was just that she had all those intangibles. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just want to be honest. Now, again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying colorism don't exist or doesn't exist. It just impacts us differently because some people internalize the feeling and some people don't. I just happen to be one of those kind of guys who don't internalize those things. If a man is real handsome, because there's people who are, and I'm going to land it here, who have issues with real handsome guys and their handsome privilege or pretty privilege. I don't have those kind of issues. I'll give you your kudos and say, don't blow it. Because you still got to do the work. Don't blow it. And a lot of those assholes blow it because they think they could just walk in and have everybody throw shit at them. They turn out to be fools. So anyway, so that's what I'm saying. I just want to let everybody
So you got with your wife. You got with your wife because you really did genuinely mesh, and you all were equally yoked as a couple, more so than Pam Grier was the fad at the time.
Don't let my wife hear this shit, man. I'm only joking, you know. Pam Grier ain't that dog, though. She's fine. You know, I mean, listen, I didn't have that issue. If you mess with me on a spiritual level or something like that, I didn't really look at you coming. And I just wanted to show my wife because some people might say I'm capping. That just happened because I found her because I was looking for a wife. And then that's a whole nother conversation because I stopped smashing women for almost half a year. And my mind was clear. So when she came around, I could recognize what kind of woman she was because I wasn't thinking about just smashing. Anyway, that's another story. But anyway.
Thank you
Gary,
for that, Brother Payne. Reese,
Gary, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to just chime in real quick on the point of, you know, I can definitely agree and identify with dealing with lighter skinned women, because me being a darker guy, growing up, the females that were actually my color, I wasn't attractive to them or appealing, but my play came from the lighter skinned women, and that's how it's always been primarily most of my whole life. The lighter skinned women, I would get a lot more play, and when it came to the darker skinned women, they looked the other way. So I definitely agree with what the brother was saying.
And guys, I can attest to that. I'm a light-skinned woman, and the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice for me. I like them dark.
Let me say this: when I traveled over in Europe, oh man, it was like it was sort of like night and day. Whereas like places like Australia, London, Germany, like straight up white girls, they were like falling over you. So it was a culture shock for me, because that didn't happen back in the States, right? So it definitely opened up my eyes a lot more. So I think that where some women may think, or some black women may think, oh man, the brothers go for the light-skinned women. Well, most of the dark-skinned brothers, we try to talk to the dark-skinned sisters. They don't want to talk to us, so we get played from the light-skinned one. So we go where it's at, and that's
you go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
Before you go further, I'd like to ask Chocolate Earth a question.
You can't be mad. Listen, a lot of black women get mad and have attitudes, and they do these videos on Instagram and Facebook about this stuff. But you can't get mad when you got brothers who is your complexion or even darker trying to talk to you and actually got their shit together. You don't want to talk to them when he goes and you see him with a lighter skinned woman and you want to get mad. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Can I ask Chocolate Earth a question though? I mean, or just a little conversation? Because I didn't want to take it too down that thing. I just want you to understand, as a black woman who sees colorism, do you understand where I'm coming from? That I think you might internalize it more than I would, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Do you see? You see where I'm coming from? That little subtlety. Is she there? I don't know if she's there. But anyway, so that's the conversation.
You talking to me?
No, I was talking to Chocolate Earth.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if she's there. But I think that's a subtle part of the conversation we can't really get to sometimes. Because it's like when we have these conversations, some people say you're either for me or you're against me. And that's not where I'm at. Because I realize that some people see colorism. That's like when people say I don't see color, that bothers me, because we all see color. It's just how you deal with it.
How you react to the color.
Yeah, how you react to it. Does it change your judgment on a person just because of the color?
What if Brother R paying those people that say that? Although, I mean, I get it, the wording of it can be very on surface value, face value, sound a little harsh or disingenuous. What if those people who say, I don't see color, what if those are folks who are genuinely saying, honestly, bruh, fuck all of that because you black, I'm just supposed to vote for you or be on your side. Fuck all of that because you're white or anything else. I'm just supposed to be like, oh yeah, it's the white man, so it has to be real. The white man said it. What if there are people out here who genuinely say, I don't see color because I see character? The last time I checked, these are all the things that even our, late great brother, Dr. King was speaking about. The content of the character more so than the color of the skin. So I do believe that there are some of us out here that when it comes to I don't care you coming up to me some, yeah, brother, because nigga, let me see what your intentions are first. And if you come out to be valid, if everything is solidified, cool, I'm rocking with you. But I digress. My mic is muted. You got it.
No, that's a good question, Smeed, because there's a subtlety to the way you ask the question. When you say you don't see color, what you are actually saying, you're looking past the person's skin color. But you still see what color they are. Right? So you still see what color they are. I mean, no,
Right.
it doesn't matter whether you use that as part of your judgment or not. No, it does matter. Even if you don't use it as part of your judgment of that person, you want to see what kind of person they really are. I can. That's how I am. But when people say they don't see color, there's a little disingenuous stuff in there because we all see what we see.
Do you think you're taking that a little literal? Is what I'm saying.
But it is literal.
We
Yes,
get it.
yes. Yes, the answer is yes, because it is literal.
Okay.
It is literal. I see you. I see your color. See, when somebody tells me that they don't see my color, I'm saying, but shit, man, you don't really see me.
So when they say they don't see your color, are you saying, hold on now, you don't see all this nigga right here? You don't see all of this, how I could possibly just love fried shit. I could possibly just love Auntie's potato salad. You don't see all this nigga right here. I'm trying to figure out, so what are they missing that they're not seeing, considering they not yet know the character of whomever it is in front of them?
Well, listen, I know where you're coming from. Here's what I'm saying to you. I wouldn't take it that way. Right, as a black man, I want you to see me who I am.
But you said it's literal. You said it's literal.
No, I didn't say.
Is it okay to jump in on that?
I'm gonna let you jump in right now.
He was talking to you first, beloved. So yeah. I want to hear what this nigga guy say first. Go ahead, R-Pain, rock out.
But let me just answer your thing. The way you couched it is not how I want to couch it. If they look at me and say they don't see my color, it's because I'm proud of who I am. So if you look at me,
why can't it be because they see how you carry yourself over anything?
Let me finish answering. Listen, I don't like people to say that because I would never say that to somebody. I would never say that to a person. I don't care what your color is in our interaction, but I won't tell you I don't see you as who you are. Because that gives me, it's kind of disingenuous when people say that.
But what if they see you for who you are because of how you care? What if who you are is a lot deeper than the complexion of your tone? What if who you are is exactly who you are? You take care of your wife, you take care of your family, you're a stand-up guy, you show up not on time, you show up early, because we all know when you're early, you're on time, you're late. How is that not seeing who you are because they don't acknowledge your thick lips and nostrils?
Listen to me, man. You talking, but you don't have to acknowledge my color at all, man. Right? So you could see who I am, but you don't have to lead with I don't see you as a black man. You don't have to say
but you just said that, R-Pain. I'm only going off what I'm riding off your whole roller coaster here.
You're taking what I say and you put your
I just put my hands up on the dip.
You put your own interpretation on it. I see that Grace is lighter. I saw chocolate just come in the back. That who's really chocolate. I see you for your color. It has nothing to do with what kind of person I think you are. So I would never say to that person, I would never say to you, I would never say to Grace, I don't see your color. That's not part of the conversation. So when a person comes to me, especially a white person, I don't see your color. I don't want to hear you say that because I don't believe you. Because if I came home with your daughter, you ain't gonna feel the same goddamn way.
Okay. Taylor, Sister Chocolate want to get in here. She's been back and forth. While we got her up here, let's let her go ahead and rock it. Go ahead and drop it, sister. What you got? I'm pretty sure you want to respond to Brother R-Pain.
Oh, I want to apologize because I had to come get in my truck. So I apologize. I missed if you had a question for me.
Yeah,
so
I did have a question for you.
Go ahead, sir. Please. I want to answer that for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's a question or maybe a statement. I don't know how much of my little soliloquy you heard.
Yes, I heard you, but I couldn't. Yeah, like I had to. Go ahead. You got it.
Is that, do you see the subtlety of what I'm saying? I'm not dispelling the fact that there is colorism. I just think that we internalize it differently. That was my whole point. And I think men internalize it differently than women. Well, some men and some women. You know what I'm saying?
I do understand where you're coming from. And I want to say this.
Go ahead.
Everyone internalizes everything. There's nothing you can just wipe off and walk away, right? Now, whether it is in the back of your mind or it's something that's not as important to you, like you said, The light skinned honeys was after you. You got you a red bone, right? I'm just messing. I'm just messing with you.
Admit to that. She don't want to admit to that, but go ahead.
I didn't like being called a red bone either. I'm gonna just be real. Like, I didn't like those comparisons. And
Because you're not. You're not
Pete,
light skinned. Why do they say that to you?
Sir, hold on. Let me let you know something. I'm in the dark in the car. If they pulled up the paper.
I've seen you. You're not Gina. You're not Lisa
Ray. No. But hold on. I used to be until I moved to the West Coast. I'm in the sun. I've been in the sun, thank goodness, for like 15 years, and I finally got some color. Can you still see my veins in the holidays? Yes, you can. Now, do I care though? No, my mother was a beautiful chocolate woman. My father, he was considered a red bone, kind of light. And I grew up and I wasn't even that light. But comparison to my dark-skinned sisters, it was an issue. Because usually, all my friends were what you would call, Smitty, either your skin complexion or darker, right? Because again, my grandmother was lighter than Grace. You know what I'm saying? So DNA is just what it is. It's DNA. I got mixed in. My grandfather was darker than our pain. So there's always going to be when I think what the change has become is Black people have realized that there is more to your genetics than just, if you and I, Smitty, have a baby, it's going to automatically come out your color or my color. It's not a guarantee, right? It could pull from whatever your family is. You mean our
color? I'm looking at the same thing. I don't understand what's happening right now. What am I missing?
What are you talking about? We are not the same color, Smitty.
Okay, all right. I'll let you stay with that. No, it's your world. I'm just in it.
Look, listen. I'm just teasing. I don't care.
It's your complexion. I'm just looking at it. You got it. Go ahead.
Anyway, let me get off this camera. Lord have mercy. Anyway,
let's welcome Trayford.
I know what it is with
Hi.
We got the light skinned brother now up here. You know what I'm saying?
No. That is Uncle Ferg. Gracie, that is Uncle Ferg. That's one of our elders. Salute. Anybody want to know about the crack era in the 80s? He got the whole 8-hour documentary, and that's just the first day.
You got the crack era.
Oh, so he was in.
All right now.
He was in New Jack City.
What you got for us, Uncle Ferg? What you got?
Hey man, just the topic. Go ahead. You got something to say?
No. I just want to ask you, what is colorism to you? And I want to hear about an experience that you went through because of colorism.
Tell them about all the times you took them dark niggas girls in high school. Go ahead, Uncle Ferg.
My first girlfriend my first girlfriend, my first true girlfriend. I had a girlfriend in 8th grade. She was like me. She was light skinned. She was the prettiest girl in school. I really wasn't into it because I had sisters and all that. Now, my first real girlfriend, when I was boogieing in the streets, she was about our Plains complexion. I've always loved that cocoa, caramel, burnt black, blue complexion. I don't know why, but I've also always liked the light-skinned women too. I never had a preference. I talked about this yesterday because I always understood if I had a preference that I would limit my options. And I like options. I like 10 fingers on my hands. I want to be able to choose from all 10, not just a certain little, but I always end up with the brown skin. Now me, of course, when I give a nice little tan in the summer, I can slide in with the dark skin sometimes, but just the
never, but we'll let you believe that. Rock out.
This whole colorism thing, I think it only separates us even more.
Exactly.
We all got big noses and big lips and big wide ass toes and big fat feet. It's all of us. We all the same. So why color matter?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
yeah, we can hear you, fam.
Hi, good. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
My worst experiences came from people that look like me. I was white boy, old yellow.
And that's the point of this whole show. That we expect them to stop being racist and accept us, how can we accept them to do that if we can't accept ourselves within ourselves first? That is the whole, and you just laid it out there for me, Trey. That's the whole point of this show, to show the history of colorism, to show that we are the worst enemy of ourselves, and we need to stop that shit, because we can't holler racism to them, the white folks, if we racist ourselves. How do we expect them to change their behavior if we're worst at our behavior? And that is the
Gracie,
whole point.
According to the Negro Handbook, we are not actually physically and or mentally or economically capable of being racist due to being downtrodden, even to this day.
Is that
it's in
so?
the Negro Handbook. You got to look at it. They updated the version. I think it's 24, man.
I never had nobody.
Just saying.
I never had nobody white that called me a light skinned nigga. You light skinned nigga? No. It is what it is. I've heard black people, oh, you high yellow, you light skinned, you don't know. Hey,
light bright. Oh, you light bright. I've been called light bright.
I got one of them with Teddy Ruxpin for my birthday. Sorry, I'm an 80s baby. My bad.
I got a light skinned Cabbage Patch, but I asked for a dark one because they were prettier. But I got a light skinned one. Well, this one looks more like you. But I didn't want that one. So it's like we've all experienced it. And let me give you a little bit more history on colorism, because I know Trey and Arpain, y'all, this is your first time here. I don't just come up here and let people talk our shit. I bring actual information, statistics, and data so we can learn. And whatever you can take away from tonight's show from me or anybody else is my mission. So let's talk about
you got a light skin you got a light skin Cabbage Patch.
Cabbage Patch. Yes, with red hair.
I got a deck of Garbage Pail Kids. Let's think about that. Now let's think about that. Now go ahead, rock out.
Can I get in here for a second? Because I ain't
absolutely, fam. Go ahead, get in there.
Look, what we gotta stop doing. We gotta stop making it seem like it's okay what white people are doing. You know what I mean? Or the systematic racism that we face. We gotta make it seem like that's okay, because it's not.
Exactly.
I understand that we have done things to hurt each other, and I get that. I totally get that we have done things to put down each other. I understand the black on black crime, all that. You know what I mean? I come from the hood, so I know. You know what I mean? I've seen it firsthand. You know what I mean? I've even lost people in my neighborhood based on that. So I understand it. You know what I mean? I totally understand it. But it don't take away from what has been done to us and what continues to be done to us. It don't take away from that. You know what I'm saying? Because no other community, no matter what degeneracies they have, overlook, you know what I mean, the people who have oppressed them or are oppressing them or have oppressed them. They don't overlook that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, we can look at any community. You could look at the Jewish community. You think all Jewish people are on the same page? No, they're not. Okay, they have people in their community that's degenerates or that go against the grain. But hey, when that Holocaust come up or when that discussion come up, you know what I'm saying? All that go down the drain. They ain't even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? So every community is gonna have its degenerates. I don't care if you go from the Asians or you go to the Italians or you go to whatever community. Every community has their line of people who are out of line, who ain't doing the right thing, who breaking the law, yada, yada, yada. It goes on, right? And Grace, you know this because, you know, you're from New York like me. When The Sopranos was out, right? The Italian community came out, you know what I mean, in droves and said, this does not represent us. This is not who we are. We are not a part of the mafia. Please don't paint that picture of us. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, every community has their degenerates. All right, Gracie, whatever. Every community has their degenerates, right? Gracie's feeling herself. She done posted pictures of her doing a bow flex and all that. I see her. You know what I mean?
That's my new trainer.
Yeah, all right. So, like, every community has its degenerates, man. So, like, but we still gotta work things out here so that we can make sure that things are working in our advantage, right? Because every other community, they don't mind taking reparations. They don't mind taking food stamps. They don't mind taking whatever help they can get. They don't mind taking none of that. Now, I mean, they will take everything this country got. They will milk it clean when they come over here. They'll take every loan, every business loan, everything they can to build up their community, to build up their household. They don't care if they got to live 8 to a house. You know what I mean? They're going to take whatever this country gives them and use it to help them move forward. So we got to start doing that. So if that means we got to get reparations, let's get it. I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else getting it, why not? I'll take it.
Yeah, let's get it.
Hey, real quick. So I want to ask this question now, please. So I just want a yes or no because I'm going somewhere, because I would like to, I just want to pluck your brain because you're a very wise man. You're very intelligent, and you do have a lot of wisdom. Maybe sometimes all of us just don't get exactly the direction in which you're going with it. Okay. Would you say that before I have anybody respect my house, I have to show clear as day when you walk in the door that I respected myself?
Who's the question
for everybody? Yeah, I was wondering.
No. I'm talking to So. I'm talking to So. Real quick, y'all.
Hold on. No, I'm not saying. Hold on. Let me make this clear. No matter what anybody says, you ain't changing your mind. Y'all know I'm
nobody said change your mind. I'm asking. Come on, So.
I know that.
You know how I get it, bruh. So if I'm asking you a specific question,
real. I really am a ram for real.
So
I mean, I'm
yes or no.
So
would you say
yes,
that?
No.
Okay.
Yes, we do need to. Let me say this. We do need to take responsibility for the things we do in our community. Never said we didn't. You know what I mean? But we cannot ignore what's going on as well. We can't ignore that. We just can't.
Okay. Now hold on. So now I'm with you, my brother. Only thing I'm gonna say is this: is beautiful how you brought up the Jewish community. All right. Shout out to the Hebrews. Raise the roof. Mazel tov. Okay, now listen. This is where I'm at, bruh. When you said that they don't always they don't always agree. They don't always get along. They have those who are rebellions in their community. I want to ask you this: when and where do you see it publicized? When it happens?
Yeah, I'm not. When? I never brought up the fact whether it's public.
No. So, a specific question. I want to ask you: when? Yeah. Where do you see it publicized? I'm going somewhere, and I'm going to land it. I'm gonna land it. Let you respond.
I'm not. Hold on. I don't know because I'm not in the community, but I just know human nature. Human nature says
they run entertainment, sir. They run entertainment, sir. They run entertainment, sir.
I understand that.
They don't air out their dirty laundry. That's what Smitty's trying to say.
Thank you, Gracie.
Whereas we post everything.
Thank you for giving me a man's response.
Wait.
I get.
Direct.
I really would love to answer this question. Go ahead, So.
I get what you're trying to say. All right. And them not airing out their dirty laundry and all that. But I know human nature, right? Human nature says every community has people in that community that goes against the grain. That's just human nature.
Listen. So let me land it. So you, Sister Chocolate, whoever else, everybody, I don't care. My point is this. I keep hearing us trying to somehow or another fluff, sugarcoat, and/or pussyfoot around or roll over the fact that we disrespect ourselves more than anybody else. And how the fuck do you expect somebody to respect your home? How can I tell you, take your shoes off when you enter my house, but when you look at my carpet, it don't look like something you want to walk barefoot on? Can we cut this shit right now?
I would love to answer that. I'm sorry, So go ahead, baby.
Hold on. Thank you, sister. Thank you. And good seeing you, Chocolate. I definitely got to hit you up later. Now listen, right? It's all based on your anecdotal experience, right? Some people have grew up in communities where they have faced a lot of backlash from.
We're speaking about the collective of us as a whole. We can't speak anecdotals. We can't speak solos.
Let me land.
All right, my bad. Go ahead. My bad. So my bad.
Everybody's experience is gonna be different, right? If I grew up in one section of America or wherever else, my experience is gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we had Simon up here. He gave a whole different experience. Whether y'all feel whatever y'all feel about Simon is whatever. That's my bro, whatever. right? He gave a whole
Simon
different
Folks.
perspective.
He cool.
Hold on. Yeah. So that's my thing. Everybody got a different experience. So I may feel like my people treated me the worst. Somebody else may feel like the white person may have treated them the worst. It all just depends on what you've been through. We all come through this thing differently. So, you know what I mean? That's just what it is. And I'm not saying that we don't have things that we got to change. Like I said, I grew up in the hood. I grew up with liquor stores and all that on every corner. I done seen the violence. I done seen the gang violence. I've seen all that. You know what I'm saying? But I also have seen racism because of being in the corporate world. I've seen that as well. So I've seen both. Neither one is okay. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying neither one needs to happen. And people need to take responsibility for both. So whether it's our own community that's doing it or somebody on the outside, it's not okay either way.
So if you outright, so what I'm hearing, you outright disrespect yourself. I outright, openly show I have no regard for any form of dignity, discipline, respect within oneself. Nothing. None of that exists over here. I am what we call out here in the DMV area, I am what we call an anything ass nigga. Use of anything. Because you'll do anything, you'll be anywhere, you'll be around anybody. You have no regard to anything when it comes to like self-awareness. Now, I'm asking you, who is supposed to care about you more than you? First, do you not believe that those who are shown a certain amount of respect get that certain form of respect based upon the fact that they already show the example of it, of how you're supposed to treat me before you even come in my presence? You know, there are some people, as soon as they open their door, you can see it. You know, there are folks who have come to my home. I didn't say a word. I opened the door. They looked inside my house and they proceeded to first kick their shoes at the front base of the bricks. And then they proceeded to take their shoes off before they took a step in. You want to know why? Because of what they saw of how I produced my shit. Because of what they saw as soon as I opened the door. Not to mention what they saw walking up through the yard as you're coming to the driveway. This man takes care of his home. So you know what people do? They come in here, they take care of my shit for me. If somebody makes the slightest of a drop, if they spill something, some popcorn on the floor, a little spill of a soda or a drink, a juice or water, they ask me, where are the paper towels, where your rags at? I'm going to get it up. Why? Because they see I take care of my shit. So guess what? They wound up taking care of it for me.
I already said.
I have to disagree with you, Smitty. Oh, I'm sorry. So,
no, please do. We're taking all donations tonight. All donations. Let's rock out.
I already said that we have to take responsibility for our community as well.
I'll be here.
I already said that. So I already made that point. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I'm not going to repeat myself. I said what I said. It is what it is. You got to take responsibility for the community.
You know that's why I fuck with you, nigga, because you stand on your shit. That's what I'm talking about. Chocolate, what you got? What you got, Chop?
Yeah, other communities need to.
Okay, we're gonna let Chocolate talk. And
hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Salute to my man Von Eric, my music curator. Go ahead, Chocolate.
Smitty,
that's what I was gonna do. Okay.
Yeah, let's know. To what Grace's question was earlier, and it plays into what Smitty said. The reason you've become an anything person probably is based on a few factors. See, there's some variables that we don't talk about. I could come in your house and disrespect it because I wasn't raised that way. I can come in your house no matter what you say, no matter who you are, and I can still come in and disrespect it. Now, you're going to make the decision whether to kick me out or not.
Go ahead.
But hold on, Smitty. The reason I say that is this, and to your point earlier, we always want to bring up this poignant of, well, this community and that community. Okay, fine. But how many of us own or are a part of what has been shown to us in our community? If I have been told or shown that Black men love big booties and big boobs, okay, that's all I know, right? So it's important to me to attract my Black man. So I'm gonna do whatever, whether I come with it naturally or whether I go and get it fixed, right? We don't own the media. We don't own the newspapers anymore. We don't own the things that would air out. Hold on, hear me out now.
Go ahead.
We don't We're not in those positions where we dictate what our children hear, what we see, what we saw growing up, all of us, right? We come from the 80s and the 90s era, and we can all discuss how movies, the biggest movies in the 90s were what? Shoot 'em ups, drugs, gangs, those type of things, especially in the 90s. Like, you've got, for me, I'm gonna speak to this point. One, can we get off each other's back to hold this Black person banner when we all are doing the best we can in the situations we're in? I wasn't raised the same way that Soap was. I might not have been raised the same way that Grace was, but I bet you I can do this. I can say, hey, how many of y'all like a dirty house? How many of you like to eat bad food? How many of you want to be in abusive relationships? How many of you, right? So it's these variables, and we kind of want to go back in time and put everybody in one side or the other. Grace asked a great question. She said, if we hate on each other, how do we expect anybody else to treat us with respect? It's more than that. Like she said earlier, her being from the Dominican culture, and again, me being a history buff, some would argue, well, that's just Africans who can speak Spanish. Because who brought Africans to that area?
That's my next index card.
But we also have to take into consideration too, here we are, 2024, and we are still having the same conversation of, well, why do we treat each other the way that we do? Let's be honest.
Thank you.
It was because this is how we were raised. This is what we saw. We didn't need social media to go, all right, Trey Ferg, oh, he light skinned. I bet he make me a good baby. You know what I'm saying? Or Arpain. You're right. Oh, Arpain, he's sexy chocolate. So I know he gonna make me a good baby. Those things have been a part of our culture. We see each other first before we step in each other's homes, before we know where our minds are, any of those things. But I bet you we do know this. We know how to act, right? We were raised. Our parents and grandparents said, well, you don't act like that in front of them white folks. You don't say that in front of white people. Because they were always put on a pedestal of us. So we can't continue to keep blaming each other and going, oh, we hate on each other, we disrespect each other. Everything is a learned behavior. And the going against the grain to what Soap said is because you know it's bullshit. You know it's fake and phony. You know it's just to keep people in a certain mindset. And you're always going to have that because you have people who want to follow. You have people who want to be accepted. And to what Soap said, I stand in mine. Whether you agree with not this is not only is it my experience, of course, only my experience, but I can find you 10 other sisters who will have the same experience. Oh, I've had men say this. Oh, I've had women say that. So I mean, we have to be fair. And if we are going to be realistic, it is. Yeah, go ahead, please. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you got it.
No. You good. No. I always want to make sure, like, let folks get it out. Like, because I do the same thing. We all can do that. All right. Respect to you. So listen, Brother Arpain, we're going to go to you. No. I see you. Definitely. So I'm going to get this out real quick. We're going to you, Brother Arpain. Uncle Ferg, I don't know. It looks like you wanted to say something, but the floor will be open. Arpain, your first one. The floor is open.
Yes.
All right. So Sister Chocolate. Hold on. Real quick. After. So
what?
Real quick, sister, I want to ask you this. So you say that we don't own anything as far as when it comes to these networks. I want to ask you this. Do you agree or not that when it comes to the African American community that we are overall the largest consumers? I'm not talking nothing about owning, nothing.
Yeah, no. We used to be, but we're not anymore. We are no longer the biggest consumers in this country. We used to be, but we're not anymore. We moved down to number 3.
It's okay.
So,
it's okay. Okay, all right.
We
number
have
3.
our Asian brothers and sisters who
No
are
problem.
at the top. They are the biggest spenders.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool things. Okay. You got that. All right. So let me ask you this: when it comes to the entertainment world of America, I'm talking about our sports, music, movies, the whole nine. Would you say that these people who bumped us down to number 3, whoever 1 and 2 is, would you say that they are more, prominent when it comes to the entertainment world than the Black community? Would you say that if we were to just, I'm talking about every sports newscaster, news anchor, basketball player, football, golf player, you name it. I don't care what the category is, boxer, rapper, singer, you name it. If every single Negro was to wake up AM tomorrow and say, fuck you, fuck up, fuck off. We ain't doing it. Do you think that they'll be able to sustain? If all of us who look like me and you, my sister, was to quit, would you say that they will be able to sustain whatever they're doing?
Imagine if that could happen.
I'm just waiting for the response.
So, and to your point, I think we could sustain ourselves now.
No. Yes or no before you get to the point. Yes or no?
No, that's it. Yes, I think we could. Yes. Yes, I do.
You think that entertainment can go on if every single Negro, I'm talking about from a Stephen A. Smith,
I know
all
who
the
you're
way
talking
down
about,
to a rap artist said, we are not working today. It wouldn't flop?
No. Because again, we're the talent. We have others who are talented in other ways.
Gracie, let her dig this. Let her dig this.
No, go ahead. I just wanted to answer your question.
No.
That yes, I think it would
be about how it wouldn't if none of us went to work the next day, all the way down to Black content creators like us.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't flop. It would not. It would not flop.
And tell us how it wouldn't. Who would sustain it?
Well, one, if that was ever the case, that we pulled our talents out of the industry of entertainment, it would flop, but I don't think we would.
Wait.
I don't think we would, because I think we have a lot of...
I said nothing about us flopping. I said everything that has to do with why we don't own. And you know where I'm going, but I'm just going to play this game with you for a couple seconds, all right? Then we're going to go ahead and get serious.
I'm not playing no games, Smitty.
Okay,
no. I'm not playing no games. I mean what I said.
We're going to play these games for a couple seconds, then I'm going to go ahead and get real with you. So one more time.
Okay, go ahead.
If every single Negro was to wake up tomorrow morning, I'm talking about from a newscast anchor all the way down to entertainment with sports and music, movies and everything. If every single one of us who had melanated complexions and all of that, Black people, if we said, fuck it, we're not going to work, what would be the results?
A lot of folks calling and begging for us to come back. That is exactly what would happen.
It'll drop instantly. There are so many shows that wouldn't be able to proceed. No. We're not going to play these games.
But
there are so many shows
we're not gonna
that
play
would
this
not
game.
be able to
Smitty.
proceed. Movies, things that would
down.
not be able to proceed. Okay? Now, hold on. You're going to let me finish. You're not going to overtalk Smitty. All right? What I'm saying specifically is there are a lot of things that would not proceed. Things would come to a screeching halt. Okay, so we're going to be done playing the games because there's other people who want to get in here too. So the point in which that I'm making right now is if we all were to collectively say we're not going to work, fuck all of this, we're not doing it, we want to make sure reparations, all these other things, every single Black entertainer all the way down to Black workers in the work field, I promise you, within minutes, if not seconds, there will be a huge announcement coming from the White House. There will be so many flags put up. And I promise you, they would instantly ask us, what are the demands? Do you want to know why they're so far from thinking of even having to make that adjustment? Because they know damn well they have enough of us divided in thought. They have enough of us that are separated to the point where they know these niggas will never unify. We keep on skipping over some other cultures this, other races that, but the fact is we see clear as day, and we can give example after example of how even down the Spanish coming over here, they're winning. But we don't want to take from nothing. We even want to go as far as to say everybody steals from us. Everybody takes everything from us, but we don't want to take it back. We just want to say, fuck that shit, nigga. I mean, you know, them niggas took it from us, shit. We can complain now. I mean, shit, nigga, we can complain.
Smitty.
I don't
fuck type time we on.
That's not true.
Smitty.
That's
really? Right, Von Eric. You got it, Von Eric.
Y'all heard
no.
what I just said.
That's not true that everybody, first of all, we only make up 13% of the population. So if everybody, all black.
That's even worse of a reason to be divided.
Hold up. That's not even worse. When you say that all black people and things will go down, it will not, because you don't see a lot of black people on television, especially on the television as far as ABC, NBC, and all those television. You do not have a lot of black shows. And then when it comes to news, yes, when it only comes to news, you still don't have a lot of black shows. Fox, you only have one black person. CNN, you only have one black person that's on there. MSNBC, you only have only about 3 black people on there. So no, it will not go down. They will hire a white person or a Spanish person or somebody else, a minority, to come on there. So that's totally wrong. The reason why it won't survive, because when it comes to the talent, if it was like that, why did they stop Ron Allen at the Supreme Court?
You said it comes down to talent?
Yeah.
And that's not what we are, purely.
Hold up, because you want to go up in history. Let me tell you about history when it comes to black people. And as far as us unified, let's be 100% clear. They broke up the Black Panthers. They broke it up because they was together. They was unified. Fred Hampton not only unified black people, he unified the other race. So if black people was not unified, as you say, or people say to you, then why did the U.S. government, the CIA, the FBI, and local officials try to break us up? First of all, let's look at Moulin Rouge. Let's look at that movie. You see white people in the movie, but it was about black people in Las Vegas. When they sent the black people to Moulin Rouge in Las Vegas, black people went there. Then when black people went, that's when all the white people started to go. Then when all the white people started to go, that's when they burned it down. It's because the talent lies with us. That's the talent lies with us. Not just in music, we can see it in sports. Let's look at football. Let's look at basketball. Let's look at baseball. So don't, let's not say
no, Brother Von. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna give it back to you.
Hold up, I'm not finished. Hold up, because you talked about the Jews, the people that are not.
What about them?
Hold up, the people that are not Zionists. Yes, you can see them against other Jews. The ones who are not Zionists, you will see them. They got papers and everything. The stuff they go on in Israel, how they against the Ethiopians and stuff like that, how they against the people who was here in America that went over to Israel. Yes, you will find that how Jews don't stick together. Because remember, black people are Jews too. Ethiopians are Jews too. So that's two Jews. That's Jews against each other. So let's not say Jews are stuck together. Let's be clear. The Italians, you have North Italians and you have Southern Italians from Sicily. The Northern Italians say the Southern Italians are mutts. So let's be clear when it comes to other race being against one another. I could go all down and say other races are against each other. Just don't put it on black people like black people.
Of course you can, Brother Von. Listen, many are very, very good at now. What you did was, I appreciate how you got a lot of people to be redirected and not think about what we're saying specifically. Now, I'm going to bring you back, okay? Now that we're going all around the world, now that we're back at home, okay? All right? Back around the way, my nigga.
We can stay home too.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is this, okay? So when you're talking about when it comes to the leadership and things of that nature, bruh, okay, so why has there not been, you know, we talking about the Black Panthers, they were taken down. Hold on, the Black Panthers was taken down. Black Wall Street was blown up. Hold on, who is talking? Who is talking? Hold on, I got you, I got you, R-Pain. Black Wall, hold on, Vaughn. Black Wall Street was taken down. Black Panthers was taken down. Anything that we've ever tried to think of that we can get going, the fact is this: time after time after time, we have been able to formulate a very, very wonderful, beautifully plan. Beautiful plan. We've been even able to execute a whole lot of things. A lot of things that even myself, I'm like, shit, we actually did that shit. So what I'm asking you is this: why aren't there any more, like, I don't know, leaders of the Black Panthers? Why aren't there any more like Black Wall Streets? Why aren't there any more Dr. Kings? What I want to ask you this: who would you say is the leader of the Black community today? When shit hits the fan, who does the Black? Now, I'm not talking about this one person, so don't you niggas even try to come at me with the dumb shit. I'm saying as far as that voice. We've always had that voice. Who's that voice right now? Who is it?
Wait, hold on.
Who?
I'm gonna answer it, but I'm gonna let Brother Payne go because he was.
All right. That's respect to that. So I got this written down. Sir Vaughn, go ahead, get your pad, sir. I'm coming back to you. I'm not finished with you. Go ahead, Brother Payne. Go ahead, Brother Payne.
We
gonna wrap, Vaughn. We gonna wrap.
I was gonna say we got so fast part from what Chocolate was talking about. I was just gonna let you guys go because I'm trying to think about this. The conversation you're having, there is just no end to it. There's no solution to that. I mean, it's just
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, it's just that you're gonna win.
I have a couple thoughts on that, R-Pain.
What I was gonna say is the bubble I had with Chocolate when she was going on about what she was saying. I was saying there's a opposite to everything that she thinks that was going on in the Black community. What about the people who are actually doing stuff? What about the people in the Black community that are progressing above all odds? What about the folks who, are actually accomplishing things that give us the beacon to follow? And it's not just a few. There's a statistically significant amount of Black folks in the face of all the bullshit that's happening to us that's doing pretty good.
Right.
And we never talk about that.
That's true.
I like that you said that, R-Pain. I apologize.
No, there's no apologies. I'm just saying because I'm not really casting aspersions because I'm guilty of that from time to time.
Oh, no, what I was saying, I'm sorry, it jumped in the delay for me. What I was saying was I appreciate what you were saying. Yes, it's always going to be an opposite. There's always going to be people who can go against the odds. I was saying that earlier to Smitty, even though he thought I was saying something different or playing a game. But the truth be told is this. It wouldn't fall apart because we are talented people. We have created over and over again, regardless of everything that has come at us. We are still here, still trying to educate, still trying to do. Just look at us up here. All of us are from different backgrounds and men and women, and we're not up here going at each other, calling each other names. We're actually having a conversation. So it goes against the grain if someone else saw this compared to someone else's show in YouTube. Right, so that's all I just wanted to add to that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to finish my statement here. I'll let you guys just go where you're gonna go. I look at the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 until where we are is 80 years. So 160 years. I'm sorry. And in those 8 generations, we've had Jim Crow, we've had redlining, we've had lynching, we've had all kinds of dastardly things thrown at us to keep us from ascending to the place where we would naturally go in the absence of all of those obstacles. And here we are, still here. We have problems in our community. We have more of a class divide than anything else now. But even with all that institutional racism and all that, we still have captains of industry. We have folks making great YouTube content. We have success in our own lives, in our own way. Everybody's not the same. And what I'm saying is, how do we capitalize on the good stuff? Now we have a problem with the relationship and gender divide. And that's part of social engineering that's keeping us apart, because men and women, I believe, belong together. And they're doing a lot to keep us apart. It's not by accident that we argue with each other the way we do. So I'm just saying that I understand all these conversations, and I don't poo-poo them at all, because they're all real. They all have meaningful, not meaningful, but tangible impacts on our lives. But there's just some people we can't say. And there's other people who want to move towards the light. And I think we need to focus on some of those people more than we do. And I'm not just directing that at you, Chocolate Earth. I'm just saying that in general. I'll leave it there.
Go ahead, Ferg. Go ahead, Trey Ferg. Go ahead.
You know, when Smitty asked this question, you know, I thought about it. And he asked the question, who's the biggest consumer? And Ms. Chocolate said, Asians. However, to put some context to that, Asians are the biggest consumers of insurance and pensions and education. We are the biggest consumers of hair weave, fingernails, Michael Jordans, fake leather belts, gold chains, nice little cars. That's it. We're not the biggest consumers of things that will pass down generations of wealth. We don't buy insurance. We don't do that. We don't even get medical insurance. We're not getting we're not buying a house at the rate our great grandparents did, and we so-called have it a lot better. That everybody say it's a lot better today. No, we don't work together when the issues affect us all. We can all have difference of opinions when it comes to certain colors or what team you like or whatever, but we're not together when it comes to the issues that affect us all, whether you light skin or dark skin, tall or short. That's the problem that we have in our community. And that's why it's so easy for others to just come in and push us to the side. Now, we are the talent. We are the ones that dance and sing and jump. That's the way it's designed. But we're not the owners. So if we was to step out of those positions for a day or two, they're going to put those that look like them in those positions. And those people that were in those positions, they're going to be coming to us and say, would you pay $150 to come watch me play basketball on this playground court? No, we won't. We'll X ourselves out of the ability to maintain, because understand, coming out of slavery, Black folk invented 85% of the stuff that we use today. We're not inventing anything. We're just consumers of a whole lot of stuff that really have no meaning in life. And that's where we're always going. We have to break that cycle. And regardless of the way I feel about certain things, you coming from the east side or west side, I learned this years ago about the Hispanic community. They don't even know what the hell be going on and shit, and they show up and somebody says something going on. They just show up just because. They get the information when they get there. I can't do it. I got a hair appointment. I gotta get my hair cut. I gotta do this and do that. Why don't we just show up when they need? That's the problem.
You said Black people, as far as buying Jordans and stuff like that.
Well, just consumer stuff.
Okay. What do
Vaughn, are we gonna act like we don't?
No, hold up. When you make a positive claim, you have to have positive evidence. What statistics are you going by when you say, as far as Black people not buying an insurance? And
are you serious? Are you fucking kidding us right now?
Listen.
Are you serious, bro?
Come on, Smitty.
No. That's that disingenuous bullshit.
Settle down.
Keeps us. No. I'm just saying something. Y'all already know. Hold on. That's disingenuous. To sit up here and act like we really be focused on fucking life insurance. Like most of us even know the difference between term and whole. Stop playing.
Yes, Smitty. People know that. What?
Let the bro ask the question. Hold on.
Right. You can't just you make it a assumption. If you make an assumption, you're making a positive claim. Bring up the evidence or the statistics that you're going by when it comes to Black people.
Look at what niggas wear on their feet when we walk out. We buy Jordans.
Why are
the
you?
Fuck?
Smitty, if that's the case, then why did Michael Jordan say, well, Republicans buy tennis shoes too? They buy Jordans.
God,
it does not.
Dog, that has nothing to do. That's apples and fucking oranges. That has nothing to do with.
Can we settle down, please?
Yes.
No. We good. We talking this man, Gracie. No, Gracie, we got this. We men. We good. Nah, real shit. Are you serious right now?
What I'm saying, hold up. Yes, I'm serious. I wouldn't be talking if I was just joking. I would be laughing. He is bringing up.
You are laughing. Go ahead.
He is bringing up things as far as what he said, as far as what black people are doing. Let's look at history, just like Grace said, as far as history. If that was the case, that black people do not stick together and things like that, why are they stopping? Why are they stopping Byron Allen? Why did they stop him from buying BET? And why are they stopping him? Why did they stop him from getting a channel on Comcast and other networks? Why did, when he went to the Supreme Court, not only...
Do you want to know why that was able to be stopped? You want to know why? You want to know why? No, I'm going to tell you exactly why.
Let me finish this last thing. When he went to the Supreme Court, and he was trying to get on that network as far as Comcast and DirecTV and all of them, right? Not only did Comcast, who is a left wing, who is the biggest shareholder in the company, is a black union, they took him to the Supreme Court. Guess who else went side by side with Comcast? The Trump administration. That has never been done. That is unprecedented. If you want to Google it and go into that case, you will see. So if black people don't stick together, if black people, and he talk about black people in ownership, why did they stop Byron Allen and another rich man, Mr. Smith, from buying the Denver Broncos? Why did the NFL stop him?
When I'm gonna tell you exactly why.
He said it. He said, I want a black owner. Why did they stop after he said it? The commissioner of the NFL, why did he stop Byron Allen and Mr. Smith from buying the Denver Broncos and gave it to Walmart? Since you saying black people ain't trying to be owners and black people don't want to be owners.
I'll say exactly why. Evidence. Because even down when you break it down to the basics of what it takes even to be like a black-owned barber or salon shop, a black-owned restaurant, you name it, right? Daycare center. The fact is, what's needed is the consumer backing. Everything you talking about, bro, we all know the number one reason why these things do not fall into play for us as opposed to it does for others is because of their people pushing and backing them. There's a reason why majority of our leaders will not step up the way that you think that they should. Why? Because they know niggas will not back us, and they know the very second that any of us hear the slightest bit of anything, we will try to discredit that person. And I say it all the time. Look at what they did to Brother King. Oh, well, he cheated on Coretta. He couldn't have been that great. Right. We do that fuck shit. So my point is, when you ask the question as far as why haven't we taken over whatever, you want to know why? Because the very ones like you and I who are talking about this shit right now, we don't back these people when it's time. Or they just it's not just them. No. The fact is, we all know it's not just their money. It's not just their image and influence. It's also the backing of the people. No business is sustained without the consumer. Period.
May I?
This show would not keep going if it wasn't for those.
Hold on, guys. You gotta let other people talk.
Period.
Or they just lost out on the deal. I mean,
Thank you. Thank you.
You niggas got more shit with you today, but I'm gonna let this rock. We good.
If you don't mind, I really would like to speak to what Trey said. No knock to you, sir. This is something that's been said for years. Almost 20 years I've heard this growing up, that black people don't buy this, black people don't buy that. Well, statistically speaking, to what Von Erich said, being that I'm a person that's into agriculture and housing, that's my lane. Black people spend the majority of their money on 5 things. And I'm not talking about people who want to buy Jordans. I don't care if you want to buy Jordans. That's your business. My thing is, black folks spend their money on food, transportation, housing, education. Because see, how is it that we are not buying anything if you don't have a number of Black men and women who are paying out of pocket to go to college or to get any kind of degrees or things like that, certifications online, so on and so forth. So that in
How many
itself
of us
is,
have degrees in fields that we don't even work nowhere near close to that?
wow,
Are we going to
Smitty.
play these games? You want to talk about degrees? How many people have degrees and they are nowhere near in that motherfucking field?
But Smitty, you can't say that. And I'm not going to say fuck the degrees because, again, we have Black doctors. We have Black nurses. We have Black astrophysicists. We have Black biochemists. We have them. Now, they may not be in the vast amount that we would like to see. But again, to what you said earlier, if we're going to really have a solution, if we are going to have a solution-based conversation about how we can change this, is that we have to be honest about the fact that y'all still saying shit that was said 20 years ago, that all Black people buy the same things, and it's not true. My grandfather, my dad, my mother,
what are the outside results that you can show me?
I can show you. I'm in my car right now.
Fuck all of that. Fuck all of what we're talking about and everything else.
Yes,
fuck numbers and everything else.
Was this
I
not
want to
about
know,
colorism?
what do we see?
Right,
what do
exactly.
we see? We're going to act like we don't see the same shit.
Hold on, Smitty. Can I please finish? And to what Grace said.
It, man.
Grace, this is exactly what you said. This is what we mean by this. To your point of colorism, we have been made to believe these things about each other. But when you have an opposite response, you want to come back and go, oh, well, you playing a game, or well, you being disingenuous.
Niggas don't spend their money on trinkets. Niggas don't spend their money on trinkets, chocolate.
But that's not a hold on.
Really?
Let's do it this way then, Smitty.
We don't waste our money on trinkets.
No,
Can you please point out to me a successful rapper that doesn't have at least bare minimum 2 to 3 chains on?
I don't care about that.
Please. No. I need you to focus on what I'm talking about right now, because there are a lot of us. Because you know something that's been our outlet as Black people, fucking music.
But that's what I said, Smitty, and you disagreed with me.
Has been our outlet, and you know what we allowed them to do? We
allowed
them to put us back in chains.
To do anything.
You can try to talk over all you want. Listen to what I'm saying right now. We allowed the music industry to put us back in chains. So now that we're back in chains, because a lot of rappers, you got rappers that'll say to other rappers, hey dog, where your chains at?
Bro. But I'm not a rapper,
The last time I remember we was in chains, we were being told what to do. Now I want you to pay attention to the music industry. It's a lot of niggas that's being told what to do.
You not let her finish.
Come on now.
Smitty. There are the reason it goes back to what I said, whether you agree with me or not. If you don't own MTV, if you don't own VH1, if you don't own, and then I'm being told as a little girl that, oh, look at this one and this one and that one, that's who you want to be when you grow up. This and this and this. Who is respected? We didn't need social media to know that who was respected in the hood. I grew up in the hood where the pimps and the crackheads and everybody. Like, my dad was a crackhead, okay, Smitty? So I know exactly. I've been on both sides.
Yeah, tell us all that. I got you.
No, but I say that not to prove anything else than this. You going based off conversation, like you said. How can you come in my house and disrespect me, Smitty, when you ain't never been here before? And that is
because when I walked in, I saw shit thrown everywhere.
But
I see random splats of that
you ain't been in my house. You ain't been in my house, Smitty.
That's why.
No,
I see cigarette burns in the couch.
I don't smoke cigarettes,
your little seat smells like a cat.
No, it does not, Smitty.
That's why.
I see that in the trailer park.
You hold on, Bob.
What
I'll say this. You were talking about it. And whether or not you want to agree with me, I don't disagree with you, brother. There's a perspective of life that you have that I don't have. It doesn't make you better or me worse. What you're talking about,
anybody was better or worse. You're throwing these words in there, love.
I can say it how I want to. It's my interpretation of the situation. It doesn't matter. I am strictly saying to you
that does matter when the audience is listening.
Right, I'm speaking to the audience as well as us. I'm gonna tell you as a person.
Can we get a timeout?
Oh, sure, Grace. I'm not upset. I got a cold and I'm raspy, but I'm a passionate person. But I'm not mad.
I hear you. But we got off track. This was, first of all, I just want to say, guys.
We off track. We went right where we needed
no,
to be.
Because this turned into, no, hold on, Smitty. I got to talk. I'm ready to talk now.
Go ahead.
This turned into a black thing. This was supposed to be about the melanated and colorism. And you guys are boxing it into a black thing. And that's not was the point of this. This was the point of me showing people colorism is a global cultural social construct that it roots deeply embedded in races and exists in many other minority groups, including blacks, Asians, and Latino Americans. I wanted to talk about all of us. I didn't want to box it in.
Exactly, and I'm glad that you said that, Grace, because the truth be told is every conversation that Smitty brought up, Trey brought up, Arpain, all of us speaking to these points, these same conversations are had in different cultures. You've got your Hispanics that don't want to be called Mexican. You've got the Dominicans.
I know black.
You're right.
I know black.
Right. You got your Cubans. You got so many. And it is not. It's just like when you go to poor, like I taught in poor white areas. There was a hierarchy of who was this and who was that. Oh, you one of them rich ones. I'm white, but I don't got that privilege. I've heard these conversations. So it's no different. Human beings are always going to give value to what is valuable at the time. And that is the truth. And I'm not going to fault anybody for doing that because that is how humans are. When it was trading of gold, where if I ask Grace, hey, Grace, you want to go get something to eat? You got to put out some shillings, some gold pieces. We all had to go through these different levels of human evolvement. And my thing again, and I'll say it, I am tired of hearing black people try to make it seem like we are so singular. We are a part of a larger global group now. And we can see that we're not alone in our fight to be better. Actually, we all have the same enemy. That's what we should have found out. But we haven't. So I pause there. You got it, y'all.
Thank you, Chocolate.
The topic was when I was going into as far as it's just not in the black community. It's in other communities. That's why I did a difference as far as southern Italy and northern Italy. They are both. They have colorism within themselves. As far as
mulatto,
right? You have colorism as far as over in China. You got homeland against Hong Kong, against Shanghai. These are all different colorism within a culture that are different. Latino, it's like in Mexico. They say the light-skinned Mexicans, and their colorism with the dark-skinned Mexicans, as far as the Indonesians and the people that was originally there, quote unquote. This is what they say. So yes, you have that in all different cultures and stuff like that. You got the Irish. You got when they have Catholic against Protestant. They still got colorism within themselves when it comes to the Irish, because especially when England invaded. So you have two different people. They, even though they are white, they are still have colorism within themselves. Let's be clear. Here in America, all white people wasn't considered white by law. They had to go to court. The Irish had to go to court. The Italians had to go to court just to be labeled as white. That's when they started turning against the other people like us, black people. A lot of it. Because remember, the KKK was killing the Irish, killing the Italians, just like they was killing black people. But then when they made and became whites by law, that's where you get the colorism. Even within the white race, it was colorism.
So even with the dynamic, and as we move into our future, going into this next millennium, do you see, and this is for anybody, based on that, how is it that when those issues that arise that affect all of those other races of people, they're not saying I'm not going to show up because someone else is light skin or dark skin, regardless of their complexion within their race. They show up for the cause just because. They don't need to have statistics that say I ain't showing up unless you can show me. No, they do it And this is where we have our issues at, because whether you're light skinned or dark skinned that didn't come from the same part of town, I feel like, oh, I didn't grow up in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I'm not going to do it because y'all don't understand what's going on today. Yes, we do. That's why we're saying we must be together regardless of our complexions, of the time that we were born, because they could still flip a switch and say, okay, we don't care if you're light skinned or dark skinned, you niggas just going back out there to the fields. That's where we are today, because we're not standing up for the things that we, I ain't gonna say that we, because a lot of stuff that we value is not going to push our culture and our nation of people forward into the future. You know, that's the thing. We put down certain generations talking about, oh, well, you didn't understand. Oh, they doing this to us. That, man, back in the day, you didn't have to worry about the damn police. You had to worry about the citizen.
But you said white people stick together.
Well, what I'm saying is, when they doing their everyday lives, they may not stick together, but when the agenda is coming out to,
you said protesting, right?
Not just protesting, man, pushing the agendas that's going to affect them.
So why did they do that at the J6, January 6th then? Why did they do that then?
Why did they? What you mean? It's still about the American. Guess what?
Shay Ferg, he's saying it's not a good example by using white people to stick together. We gotta stop doing that.
Right.
They kill each other by the millions.
Exactly. But I'm not saying. But that's individual. When it comes to, okay, let's use this. I'm gonna use this. Let's just say that they're gonna push things forward to help us. A certain small group of them.
That's a different conversation.
You don't want the masses of them will show up in protest and say, no, you better not give it to them.
We don't need them to push stuff for us, man. We
need ourselves. That's what we're saying.
So we don't need to be talking about white people.
Right. Okay, so for us to push this agenda.
If you did what you're saying, Ferg, that's still, I just brought you up an example what they did not. January 6th, you had the Proud Boys North against the Proud Boys South. They not sticking together. They wasn't sticking together. So what you're saying does not add up. You think they saying because you listen to the propaganda and you see certain things.
I'm not listening to propaganda. I'm looking at what we do. Because what we do, regardless of whether we stick together or not, we separate enough to where we don't push the agenda to help us as a whole. We still not together in there.
Trey,
I agree with that.
I do have a question after. I'm sorry, go ahead.
35 years, man.
Can you give me an example, Trey? Can you give me an example?
Yeah, you can hear it on the YouTube streets. They feel like baby boomers.
No, but bro.
You go Google, like you said, go Google it. Go Google it.
No, I'm talking about, but you're bringing up something. I told you what, but can you bring up something to support your argument? But what I brought up is supported my argument. And you can Google it to back my argument or to prove my argument or disprove my argument. I'm saying, can you give me an example from your experience in life as far as what you're just saying?
From my experience in life?
Yes, because you obviously you're speaking
it starts with the topic, the colorism.
You're making a claim as far as what we do as Black people. Can you give me an example, something that you read, something that you experienced?
When you say what we do, what are you talking about? What we do is good or bad or separate or indifferent or together?
I'm saying it's just like any other race. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, every race has those pockets of issues, but ours affect us the most. Okay, is what I'm saying.
Example of that.
We can't stand to, even with this this alphabet community and the way it's been pushed in our agenda, on the agenda to affect our children. We are not together to push that, because most men will say, no, man, this can't happen. But most women would say, yes, it can. But why can't we stand separate? stand together and say, this is our voice. Even in choosing the president, this is our voice.
Well, if it's okay, Trey, I'd like to say this. I have a question for you. Well, not really a question. I just wonder if you agree or disagree. Do you think it's going back to us and going to what Gracie said? She was talking about everyone, but to the point of Black folks, what is the agenda that we're supposed to show up for? Because there's LGBTQ in our community too. And I don't know why we use that as a catalyst. Like, what does that matter? Like, that's a preference. My thing is, what is this agenda that us as a community are supposed to have, that we're supposed to show up to?
Trey,
where is it that you want us to show up at? And that's the Trey.
Let me answer, Trey. One of the things that we have to do, let me tell you, one of the things black men have to do as a collective is we got to divide from our black women for a second, just for a second, because you guys really embrace the LGBTQ shit more than we do. Wait a minute, let me finish.
That's not what I just didn't want it.
Let me finish.
I apologize. Go ahead.
Let me just finish this. And then the first thing we have to do, because 24 is here, we have to divest as black men from the Democratic Party. We gotta leave. We gotta give. I don't care if you vote for Trump or not, but we have to abandon those bastards in all the states that matters as black men. And the women can follow if they want to or not, but we got to make sure that those guys, those liberals who are really the real racists, by the way, who keep us in the Victim Olympics, who keep promoting the LBGYNs and all that shit and all the things we do, we got to get rid of them. You know, all that, we got to get away from these people and just start standing out.
It's called LGBTQ community. You gotta respect the communities. You may not like them.
Whatever the alphabet,
you may not like them, but if you want to respect,
listen, we just gotta divest ourselves from everything that is those liberal.
You can't respect communities, brother. You gotta respect them too.
Malcolm X said it best, that the worst enemy of the black community is the white liberal. Right? So all of this trying to tell you is we gotta make a sea change in the way we operate. Because we've been with the Democrats for 80 years, and our inner cities are a complete shambles. And as black men, what have they done for us? Forget about the women, because they go for anything that's in the wind. What have they done for us as black men?
I'm sorry. Did you say black women will go for? I'm sorry. Did you say that? I apologize.
Promote the alphabet. You guys promote the alphabet community almost in every circle. Every time we talk about.
Well, hold on, real quick, Art. The question that I asked was for Trey, and what you answered is your interpretation of something I was not talking about. I was asking Trey. He said twice in what he was saying. He said we don't show up. And I am asking an intelligent question about showing up in our community. That is, it went back to it. Then what are we supposed to show up for as an agenda that we're looking, that he's looking for us to show up to? No, sir, that's not what you said. Thank you.
I can give an example. Let's look at the education system in our community.
And this is what I was going to say. I'm sorry, Trey, hold on real quick. Art, that is not what I asked. And to the point is this. No, but hold on, please, sir. Please, sir. Thank you. To what Trey is probably getting ready to say, which I 100% agree. Our housing, our education, our food intake, where we are living, where are these places that our healthcare, our banking? We have one black hospital in the whole United States, and it is owned by Howard University. That is an agenda. It's to get more black people in to the hospitals that they need to be in. That black women are dying from having babies in other people's hospitals because we don't have black hospitals across the country. That is an agenda. I just want to make that clear. How you feel about the LGBTQ community, sir? I'm not arguing, sir. No, sir, it is not. No, sir, it's not.
Go ahead.
All right. Yes, we are, because what my question had to do with is, again, the colorism that are in those particular things I just spoke about that are keeping us from showing up is in education, is in these in manufacturing, agriculture. We are not in those places, and we are eating and living in other people's dreams. That's what I'm speaking to. To Trey, you're more than welcome to answer the question. And Mr. Payne, if you want to have a conversation about voting and Democrats and Republicans, I'm all for it, but that's not what I asked. And I'm going to leave it there.
How is it going to change without policy changes?
Right, but we know that.
That's all policy.
Go ahead, Trey. Because
listen, I'm sorry, sis. I didn't mean that. It's all policy, though. What you're asking is all policy.
Right. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Trey.
But sir, of course it's about policy, but that was not my question, and you jumped in and answered the question, and that was it.
I'm serious. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
I heard both of y'all points tying to this, to the question that you asked.
Right.
We have to show up. I'll just use education because I started with education. Within education, in our urban communities, now, without the collective bargaining, you can't dictate what goes into the schools. But, however, we can dictate some of it, because before they implement a lot of this stuff, they send out a letter to the parent, they send out a memo, they even have school board meetings, they even have little meetings that say, going into 2025, these are the things we're going to do. Now, we don't show up for that in the numbers that need to be. If it's 350 Black children in a school, it needs to be 350, 60, 70 parents that show up. Whoever that guardian is or that child needs to show up to say, no, this is not what we want. We want our schools to be taught a different way. Because in the private schools, you don't have that problem. In the Alpha, you don't have that problem. They send home, they ask for permission because they know if they don't, they're going to have a whole gang of a community standing at the foot of that doorstep the next morning at 8 o'clock. They ain't going to the hair appointment. They ain't going to get some new shoes, new clothes. They're going to be at that child's school. And this is the biggest thing. But also, even in our communities, if we say a lot of our children are born in single parent homes, so it becomes a strain where the parent can't afford to take off and go to the school. But that's not the fault of the school. That's the fault of the situation that's occurred with the child. Because even with that, a mother could say, hey, Dad, can you go to the school? We ain't getting along, but we're going to move together when it comes to our child. We're going to show up at that school. Can you do it? Yeah, I can do it. Boom. Now you got a voice. Now we have and the thing about it, when the men show up, we more likely to get some change, but we don't even get the information to after the fact. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, we don't get it from the person who's privy to it first. The mother's more likely privy to the information. Share that information with your child's father. Share the information, even with the mother. We just have to be able to show up when it comes to things. I ain't talking about our old ass. My old ass, and you 40-something, my first generation. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about that child that ain't even understanding what life is going to be based off his light skin, dark skin, whatever complexion. We have to be willing to sacrifice something greater than ourselves to push the agenda. We have to. You can get 10 pictures and none of them will agree upon something. Come on, man. We have to. You're
100% right on that track. I want to answer, and that's much wisdom that you spoke. I'm serious. That's what you just said is very good. But I want to answer Grace. It's her point. I want to answer it as directly as possible. I think when it comes to breaking the colorism, especially in individual races, I think we should follow history and go back to what Fred Hampton implemented when he started the Rainbow Coalition. And what he did was, and I think Steve Biko in Africa, what he did as far as implementing his agenda and how he was able to break the colorism, not just in the Black race, but even in other races, and show that. Fred Hampton was very, very, like what Trey was saying and Chocolate was saying, and Mr. Payne was saying, when it comes to education. Fred had to be very important on education. If you bring anything in the urban neighborhood, any type of business or anything, he educated the community. Like now, it's a Black woman and it's a Black doctors that's been going into urban neighborhoods, and not just urban neighborhoods, even in other races, right? And in the health community, it is said that, the Black race can take more pain, especially when it comes to women, take more pain than a white woman. And that's not even biological. Makes no sense. And even but in the healthcare system, they are not giving drugs for women to ease pain, particularly to women, because they believe, and the doctors believe, a woman who is of color can take the pain. Those type of education and things like that needs to go, like Trey, Payne, and and Chocolate was saying, as far as educating. I don't care what race you in, you're being taken advantage of because of the color code system that we live in. So not to be taken advantage of, the same way on the Indian reservation. If you go on there, they've been taken advantage of due to the treaty they had with America. And things is going on in there, how they go in there and take advantage of them. All those things needs to be implemented and educate one another and come together with that information to uplift us all, just like Fred Hampton did when he started the Rainbow Coalition.
Thank you, Vaughn. You guys have taken this all the way to the moon and back 3 times. I mean, I appreciate the conversation, but it really was about colorism among the melanated community, because I don't want to just box in, because we all have our struggles. A struggle is a struggle, but it's what are we going to do about the struggle? Are we going to still keep bitching? Are we going to still keep blaming others? Or are we going to do, like a gentleman said, are we going to show up? Are we just going to show up? Do we do things in our community to try to make change? Do we do things? My thing is, I'm putting it out here. I'm causing the dialogue. I'm letting people know that it's just not Black people that goes through this. It's Latinos. It's Asians. Right. It's all of us. It's all of us.
Grace, what do you think we should do to fix it? What do you think we should do to solve that?
Well,
what do you think? What do you think we should do?
Well, the first thing we got to do is we have to have the courage to do something. Okay?
Right.
We have to have the courage.
Okay,
be willing.
Hold on. Can we dig into that again? How do we?
The thing is, we have to be ready and willing to deal with criticism, personal attacks, confrontation, and loss, or the fight won't be effective. The fight won't be effective.
Great.
We have to have courage to speak in a group of friends or family and denounce the act of colorism. And do you know where colorism originates from? Our family members. It starts within us, and we're traumatized. We have to start with us, and that was the whole point of this. We have to look in the. If you guys realize, every time I do my preview, the music in the background is relevant to my show. If anybody has picked up on that, and some people have, I put man in the mirror. We have to look at ourselves.
Yes, I was getting ready to say, Grace, I'm sorry. I have to give you your flowers now, because it is very true. You have to be willing to face that criticism. I say that as a person who has been dragged from one side of the internet to the next, because I want to see better for my own people and for those around me. I live around Hispanics. I live around people who are from Navajo country, who are Hopi, who are white, who are Black. I live around all of these people. And you know what's going on? People are out here on the ground. They are struggling. They are struggling to feed their families. They are struggling to pay rent. They are struggling to get to work every day. And those are the things that I personally, me looking in the mirror myself, I've had money and I've been broke, and I've had a little money and I've been broke again. And guess what? The same thing is applied. I don't care. I've been called crazy. I've been called militant. I've been told I'm a man. I don't care. It is time for us to take control of what we want to see change of. And that is why I got into what I got into. I got rid of everything. The only thing I own is a truck now, and hopefully 2 pieces of land that I can grow food on, that I can start to build on and help other people, because that is what is necessary for change within colorism, racism, socialism. gender, whatever you want to put it. Those are the things that you got to be willing to take them bullets for. And everybody on here, and gentlemen, no shout out to you, Smitty, no disrespect, but I'm tired of hearing about Malcolm X, and I'm tired of hearing about Dr. King. And the reason I say that is them men been dead. Where the next group? Y'all already know, you done read the books, you're talking about Fred Hampton, you're talking about all these different people, but what about the people that are on the ground now? To what our pain said. If you know of those people, those are the people we should be talking about. I'm not talking about me, because I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do regardless, because that is what it is. You have to stand in that adversity. And I'm sorry if black men feel that they need to divest from us, because I don't see that collective with y'all either. So I just wanted to put that in there, Arpane. But to your point, Grace, the truth is that we have to see beyond it. Yes, there will always be levels of colorism, racism, classism, on and on and on. But what Arpane asked Grace, and I'm gonna jump in like he jumped in for Trey, my answer is this: the way we start to see that shift is that, to her point, you have to be willing to take it. And I'm willing to take it. And I'm taking it. I've been called a scammer, a liar, all kinds of stuff. But guess what? I still got my land, I got my truck, and now we're getting ready to do some other stuff. And that is what it's about if you truly believe in making those type of changes. We are always going to have these kind of conversations, and I'm always down. But let's be honest with one another and ourselves. Are you willing to step away from the comforts that you have to go build your own home? Are you willing to step away and grow your own food instead of hopping your ass in the car and driving to the grocery store where you don't know where none of this processed stuff? Because even the vegetables are processed. And it's like, stop pretending like we all are on this level of education and intellect that we don't live and enjoy the comforts that are given to us by other people. And I'm sorry I went on a rant, but I had to say
it's
it.
Okay.
Thank you, Grace. I paused right
No,
there.
thank you. Thank you.
Chocolate Earth, I just want to say one thing. I didn't say divest from the black women in that respect. I think we just.
But we don't want to. I don't want her to. I don't want her to talk.
That's all I'm saying. I don't want to divest from the system.
Hold on, one at a time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to end that. I just wanted to be clear. I didn't say divest from the systems because that has a lot of connotation. I'm just saying politically we need to break away from the systems because we got to get out of this liberalism bullshit, man. It's killing us.
Right.
That's my opinion, of course.
I just want to say, Chocolate, I don't think we should forget about Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King, because what you just described as far as we should get together and we should take those, because all those three people died because what they believed in. So yes, we don't forget about them and apply what they did within us. And use their motivation as they did and apply it in this day of time. We don't need a leader. We don't actually need a leader. We can just take what they did, and apply it within ourselves and come together. And all of us could be leaders. All of us could do that, but all of us could come together collectively. Remember, Fred Hampton collected people and brought them together. Malcolm
Vaughn,
brought people together. We can't wait a minute, hold up. We cannot just forget about our past.
But that's not what I'm saying, Vaughn, and I guess that's the thing I want you to understand. I'm not saying that we should forget about them. I'm not saying that at all. I just want that to be clear.
Okay, but you said it though, so I'm just you may
no. What I said was I'm tired of hearing about those men. I don't hear y'all talking about women. I hear you talking about men. There's both of us. We both have to fight and stand for our community next to each other. Whether it's me standing next to Grace or you or Trey, on and on and on.
You said Chocolate. You said you didn't.
I apologize.
If that's the case, Chocolate, you should have said let's not just talk about them. Let's talk about the women that was beside them. If that's the case, you said forget about them, but we should not forget. We should remember them and the women that was beside them, and the women that was helped them, that fought alongside of those men. Yes, well, I'm just saying our past, the history helps us go through the present and the future. But I also want to break up, and I want to ask Grace, who was that labor leader in California? His last name was Chavez, and he was a labor leader and labor activist, and he brought not only the Latino, but he brought the Filipinos and the I think the Hmongs. Do you remember his name, or is it? Who it is?
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm gonna be very honest with you.
Okay, I'm sorry,
but I will look it up.
Okay,
I will look it up now.
It's a labor leader back in, I think, in the 60s. He was a labor leader for people that was working on the farm, and they was not getting paid as others, and they wasn't being provided for as far as not clothing, but as far as the wages, the work environment, and things like that. But I know his last name was Chavez, and the way he brought together not just the Latinos, but it was the Filipino and Asians.
Are you talking about Che Guevara? They had shirts of him.
They had what? Say it again.
They had a lot of shirts of him back in the day, and he was.
Oh no, I think that's the one. That's the one from Cuba, right?
Yeah.
No, he's talking about Cesar Chavez.
Okay. Cesar Chavez?
Yeah. Che Guevara was South America, Cuba.
Are you talking about Cesar Chavez, Von Eric?
I think so. From Pasadena, California.
Yep, Cesar Chavez.
Yeah. And how he brought together, he was different colors, and how he brought together those different people in that area to come together, and they fought and ended up getting what they were fighting for. So that goes with your as far as.
But you see, it took courage to do that. Right. You see what I'm saying? And you got to be able to that's what I'm talking about. When he asked me, well, what do you think we should do? Well, we got to shake something, because no matter what race or color we have, we've all been complacent and co-signing with colorism. See, we got to stop it too. When we see somebody treating somebody and we see colorism, we got to check them on that. Or then you're co-signing on the bullshit. And you're continuing the bullshit. That's what I'm trying to make people aware. In order to, we have to stop each other for them to stop it from us. And we have to check them. And it starts from our family members. Like, look at the story I told you. My mom was more concerned on what my son's nose was going to look like when he was being born than the birth of her grandson. Oh, wow. My mom was racist, and God bless her soul. But she did not like dark skin, and she was Dominican as they come. And I said, oh, Mom, I forgot, you blonde with blue eyes. My bad. And you know, that's what I used to tell her when she used to piss me off. My bad. I forgot, you blonde with blue eyes. I mean, we all live it. I've been through it. And it's just, what I'm trying to say is that we all, it's going to take a lot. Look, guys, it's not going to be a quick fix. Okay, this issue is complicated as any other social problem, but we have to start somewhere. And it starts with courage and honesty. We have to check our big mamas. I know they got that slave mentality in that old school, but it starts with them. Mm-hmm. It starts with them. I had to check my mom plenty of times. But we don't. We allow them. Grace. Yes, we allow them to say real hurtful shit. Separate the two sisters. One is literally dark skinned and the other one is light skinned, and you treat the light skin better and then kill the self-esteem of the dark. I was the only child of 4. Mm-hmm. I was the only child of 4 that had color. I had 2 half sisters that were Sicilian, full-blooded Sicilian, and then my brother from me and my dad, but I was the only one with color. And every chance they would get the opportunity to remind me, oh, you're the black sheep of the family. My brother used to call me the N-word, and my father used to beat his ass because of that. So it's like, you know, the traumatization starts as family members around the Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, you light skin, all them jokes and shit. Thinks it's funny, but it's really can be traumatizing to somebody. She's pretty for a dark skinned girl. Who says that?
Oh, honey.
Who says that?
You got a pretty face if you wasn't so big.
That was mine. That was mine. Oh, you so pretty. But when I used to see I had a best friend, and she was a beautiful dark chocolate China girl. But they would always say, oh, if you weren't so, why even compliment her?
Because the thing about it, and to your point again, and I know there are not every man, Lord have mercy. I know I got to say that, child, but there are a lot of men who do see us this way, and they break us up in categories, just like white folks break us up in categories. Just to what she said, my grandmother told my mama, I don't want no grandkids with fried rice on their head.
If she can't use a comb, don't bring her home.
Come
Who says that?
Come on, yes.
I've been around all of that,
Yes.
and that's where it starts.
Hold on,
That's where the colorism starts.
Craziness.
It has nothing to do with men. That's absolutely nothing to do with men.
So I have a question. Almost
Yes.
everything you mentioned, there is some men sprinkled in there, but everything down here you're saying, a lot of those things come from other women based off.
Well, we're not. But hold
I
on.
don't think most men look at their children and say, you know what, you dark skinned, so I ain't gonna look at you as much.
But I have to disagree with you, Trey, because I grew up with men and women, and they're adults now. We've all had these conversations whether it's the father or the mother, and they were taught that, so they continue and teach us. That's how it continues to go. Men and women both.
But y'all men experience colorism too, maybe in more subtle ways.
When it comes to you can't put it up. But first of all, this is not
a gender thing. It's not. We're turning it into a gender thing.
No, but it is because
right. No, it shouldn't be.
We're trying to make an equivalency. I disagree with the equivalency.
But hold on, R. Here's my thing.
When two babies are born, one light and dark, and it's the women who are mostly who
No, you have no backing up on factual information behind that. It is men and women both. It's both. Why are we doing that?
But I didn't say men were innocent. Well, there's two things can be true at the same time. But we're not equivalent in terms of the crime. All right? There's a lot. I don't agree that men treat this situation the same as women. That's just my
Okay, well, let me give you an example then. If you don't believe that this happens, let me give you an example.
I didn't say that, see?
My father, no, I want to give it to you because I want you to know that there are other perspectives out here. I would never sit up and say that it is the majority of men who have decided what colorism is. That's unfair, right? So you cannot say that it is a majority of women who are pushing colorism, because that's not true either. It is who is backing it up. If you have a whatever it may be, yes, it should be about the health of the child and so on and so forth. But you and I both know that's bullshit in this country. Let's just look at America. You know it's bullshit. We are seen differently, sir. Don't do that. Now, I'll say this. No. You made it about a gender thing. And that was not, listen to what we're saying to you. The traumas of being told that you are not good enough because of your hair, the color of your skin, your weight. All of those things play into why this stuff continues to go on. That's what Grace was saying. It's not a gender thing. It's like if y'all make differences in a heavy-set young man in comparison to an athletic young man. There are going to be differences made. Coaches say shit like that. Colorism. No, I'm not. Why? But you did. You took it and ran down the field. You took it and did a touchdown, and then nobody give you the ball. It is a part of it, sir. You can't separate. You cannot separate.
Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. I understand what RJ's saying, but our pain. Chocolate, I understand what you're saying, but my whole point was, guys, that families play a large part in how colorism resonates. And I get it. You're saying that it resonates mostly with women. And that does make sense because women are mostly with the children. But y'all males co-sign to that bullshit, so you're just as guilty. It starts with the families.
Thank you. Thank you, Grace.
I hear what you're saying. And all I'm saying is I didn't say men are innocent. Listen. Even in our judicial system, there's people who are guilty of a crime and some gets more punishment than others. And I say, in terms of colorism, women should get the brunt of the ass beat. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, and Chocolate didn't disagree with you, and neither did I. But I just didn't want to turn it into a gender thing. Yeah. Okay, I get it. You're saying that we're the creators of the problem, but this resonates from all the way from slavery.
I can see nobody's innocent. Nobody. Okay, let me say it. Nobody.
Can we go before slavery? This was going on way before slavery. The colorism was way before going, and that's all. I wasn't saying that men or women are better or worse. We are, like to Grace's point, we co-sign this shit because we keep saying it like it's facts. Fried rice. Why would you tell someone they don't want to have fried rice? That's nappy hair. That's all we just got into the era of allowing Black women to wear their hair naturally in their respective fields. Please, can we just stop? Can we just stop trying to
natural hair? Speed it up.
I don't want us to separate what we all go through. We all are looked at differently in different places, and we know that. That's all I was saying. It's not a disagreement. It's not to lift or belittle anybody.
I disagree with you.
That's fine. That's fine if you disagree, sir. That don't mean
Black men that I know want women in their
you know, but you don't know all Black men, sir. It's you.
It's like you don't know all Black men, but you're making a definitive statement.
I bet I've dated more Black men than you have. Okay, I bet I've had more Black men in my life than you, sir. What are you talking about?
That's when you do.
Why you have to date them? You know what I'm saying? I'm conceived to date them.
No.
All right, guys, we got somebody new on the panel. Let's hear from somebody new. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Let's hear from Queen. I'm sorry, Queen. I got so much going on right now. I didn't see you there, but welcome. And let me know, what do you think so far of what you've heard?
Hi.
What say you?
Was there a question that started this back and forth, or?
Well, it's been going back and forth all night, girl. I've been trying to talk about colorism and the effects in the melanated community. I didn't want to box it into just Black people, because it's not just Black people that go through colorism. It's Hispanics and Asians and Filipinos, and you know. What do you think of it, and have you ever experienced? Tell us about an experience that you might have went through.
Well,
that's how we initially.
Huh?
Tell Chubbs I said hello, Queen. Tell Chubbs I said hello. Tell Chubbs I said hello.
Okay, she left.
I know it's a lot, Queen. It's a lot. This is a good one. I usually have a 2-hour threshold, guys, but it's all good.
So I will say that I've experienced colorism, family in the community. I'm Black. I don't know my ancestral line. I know that there is Native American on both sides of the family. So my dad is from Mississippi, and his family is very fair skinned, and my mom is on a browner side, and so us as kids were treated very differently by my grandparents because of our skin. And I've heard, grandma and make little slick comments to my father. That's why my mom stopped going to visit, so we would only go as kids. I have cousins who are, they can pass for, I want to say, maybe Spanish, maybe Puerto Rican, very fair skin, long silky hair, like thick silky hair. I have very curly hair, very curly and silky on the aspects of not as coarse as some of my siblings. So I remember growing up being told, oh, you're not black, you Spanish, you Puerto Rican. And I was like, why I gotta be, oh, look at your hair, look at your father. My father used to curse people out in New York, saying, don't call me no fucking Puerto Rican, I'm black. You know, why do I have to be Puerto Rican? Because of the color of my skin and because of the texture of my hair. Oh, you lying, that's not your cousin. Y'all don't look alike. Yeah, we do. What are you talking about? You know, like, why I gotta lie? And so I remember just being ashamed of my hair. So I used to get the perm. I got I think I messed up my texture at one point. They even got a jerry curl. I was like, I just don't want anyone to keep calling me Spanish, like Puerto Rican. Why they keep doing that? Like, and they would just literally come up to me and start speaking Spanish to me and tell me, oh, you don't know where you're from. You know, those are not, even one, I remember one family that kept saying, oh, those are not your real parents. You look like you would be my child. And so I would tell people my name was something different versus my name because, you know, yeah. So they would tell me, oh, you say your name wrong. And could you imagine a 7-8-year-old walking around being told this every day? You know, like, you know, maybe that's why I got a mouth on me, because I just had to curse adults out all day. But yeah, so even in the workplace, like just you know, like, okay, I remember, I tell you one really good one. I had a roommate who was white from the East Coast. We're both from the East Coast, but we ended up in the West Coast in college. And white girl, blonde hair, blue eyes. She worked in a salon, very upscale, snooty salon, served, you know, champagne, mimosas, and, you know, all kind of stuff to get your hair cut. She needed a hair model. Hey queen, can you come to my salon and be a hair model? Sure. So I get to the salon and I'm like, what the hell? You know, they didn't have the right products for my hair. My hair felt like they were washing my hair with soap. And literally, because she was in training, so everyone was walking up to me and she was like, she had to demonstrate something with my hair, do like I forgot what it's called, a ring set. I don't know what she was doing anyway. And they was like, yeah, she was like, yeah, that's her hair. And they was like, oh my gosh, do you have a texturizer? Do you have this? You don't have any chemicals in your hair? This is your hair? Oh my gosh. Like, I felt like a fucking test tube monkey, you know, in a lab. And so, you know, even as an adult, like, people know I'm black and I have very, very curly, fine hair, you know, and it's pretty long past my shoulders, you know, so it was a shock. So yeah, I mean, it happens every day.
we all have our experiences, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't
Exactly.
say one is worse than the other. I think the biggest issue is also like black women being able to wear their natural hair and it not being considered messy, disgusting, unprofessional, you know, like the Crown Act. When did that get passed? You know, so even me, I had to straighten my hair in certain interviews. And when I got the job, when I would come in with braids, I mean, I remember my manager at one point, I worked for the county, and my manager called me in the office and she was like, I didn't know, she was very uncomfortable, but she was like, oh, hey, you know, want to talk to you. And she literally had to talk with me about my hair. And I was like, huh? Does this have anything to do with my performance? No. I said, okay, well, I said, give me a minute. I went and got my employee handbook And I said, discrimination. What are you talking about? This conversation's over. Don't ever have this conversation with me again. And I never had a problem after that. And I wore braids and all Bantu knots after that all the time, just to say, F you.
Clap, 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 clap. Yes, sis, clap.
I do have a question based off what you just said. Did you experience that more within, the workforce, or more within the community regarding the style of your hair? Whether it was, I had nappy hair, just what they went to call kinky hair, whatever it is. My wife has kinky hair, but her hair grows down to below her cheeks, and it's all natural. So, did you experience that type of pushback in the workforce, or even in the community, based off your natural hair?
I experienced it more in, I want to say, as a child, I experienced it in the community, in schools, like teachers and classmates. And as a more of an adult, I experienced it more in the workforce on the West Coast, because I wasn't supposed to have hair like that. What, you have a weave? Is that a weave? It's, like, huh? What are you talking about?
How dare you have good hair?
I've had a weave once in my life, and it was only because I didn't want to do my hair, No, you went and bought this hair. This is hair that you bought. This is my hair. No. So yeah, I've experienced it, and I've experienced it from both genders.
Clap to you, queen. Clap to you, queen.
As a child, I discount, being ragged on, by other children, because we pretty much all.
No, it wasn't by children. It was mostly by adults telling me I didn't know what my race was.
Okay.
Yes, it is adults. That's adults who tell you.
Was it the light-skinned adult or the dark-skinned adult?
That's why I said, as a young kid, I had a foul mouth, because I would just curse them out, because I didn't want to tell my mother or my father, who would have probably did something else. So I just walked around cussing out people.
Did you get it from the light skin? Did you get it from the light skin group or the dark skin group?
I got it from other races.
Were they lighter of the race or darker?
They were maybe my complexion and darker, maybe a little lighter. It varied. I didn't even really remember the race, the shade. All I remember is it was every race. White, Spanish, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Haitian, Jamaican. What you got? I named it. African, all of them.
She said all of them.
I'm from New York. I got it from everybody in New York.
Wow.
And then when I moved to the West Coast, I got it from Ethiopians, Eritreans, Laotians, Vietnamese. I got them from all of them. Hawaiians.
All of that.
So all of them. All of them was messing with this little girl.
Right. I got you. Sis,
all right, guys. We're going to start wrapping it up. We're going to do final thoughts. Okay, we're going to go around the room. The first thing I want to say is that I really appreciate all the conversation, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's necessary. And that's exactly what we do here. But we did it respectfully. It got a little spicy, but that means we're passionate, and it's okay. But it's when it gets to the name calling and stuff like that, that's when I really intervene. I let it ride out, because it was good and it's necessary. And that's why we do this. That's why these, at least me, to at least stimulate the dialogue. And it's something to think about tonight. What takeaways? So we're going to go around the room. I'm going to start with you, Arpain. And I want to say again, thank you for coming. You're like my second family now. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you coming through, and I appreciate the Cash App. Thank you very much. What are your final thoughts, and what is a takeaway from this conversation tonight?
Well, first, let me say, thanks for letting me up. And
absolutely,
met a few new people. I know Smitty. I've seen him elsewhere. Of course, Trey Ferg and I, we always in the same thing. So it's good to meet everybody else on the panel. I don't think I've interfaced with Talk with Earth before. I can't wait to get into some more heated discussions with her in the future. But listen, nobody's innocent in a lot of this stuff in colorism. I still stand by my ground that I think women in general feel it more than men, and they perpetuate it more than men. In all things that have to do with feelings, I think women internalize that shit, especially black women. That's my experience, you know. And as men, we learned to let a lot of shit bounce off our back, so we kind of tend to ignore it, you know. And it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We just don't live in that. But first of all, no women would respect black men who live in their feelings about shit like that, colorism, and I feel inferior and all that horse shit, man. We can't afford to be like that as men. You know, we just can't. Nobody's gonna coddle us. Nobody's gonna pet us and say we're doing better. You know, okay, you know, you'll get over this shit. You know what I'm saying? So we tend to move on as men and just go ahead and make our way the way we need to, regardless of the things that might be against us. That's what I teach I don't have any sons, but my nephews and things that way, and I teach my daughters that. I taught them. They're grown women now, and they're doing okay. Anyway, let me land it there.
Thank you, sir. Trey Ferg, we've been on panels before now. You're not a stranger anymore, but you're new to here, and I hope that you keep coming back. What say you? What's your takeaway and your final thought on tonight's conversation?
Well, just in the short time I've gotten to know you, I just appreciate your realism in everything that you speak about, everything that you discuss. I just appreciate that. If I'm just going to speak on the colorism thing, it doesn't matter whether you light skin, bright skin, dark skin, or whatever. You know, a lot of these issues, the way, regardless of how we separate them, they still affect us all. It does not matter what color spectrum you're on. We can say it based off our own community here, but we ain't moving the needle when it comes to changing our society. I don't care what complexion you are. If you can help benefit the movement of our agendas to make our lives, not our lives, because we old as hell, but your children and grandchildren's life, then don't be afraid to step out and be different. Expect the backlash. Expect people to talk about you for being different. You should embrace that, because if we say that we are children of God, then Jesus get the most backlash out of all of us. So we just can't be afraid to move forward in the future with it. Listen, I got colorism because I got all these color wigs that I'm trying to sell. So if you're looking to buy one,
you need to quit it. You need to stop. Go ahead on, sir.
We need each other regardless. It doesn't matter. I don't care how young, but we just, it's my last thing. I do feel that it's more important today to get our younger generation more involved in understanding what the dynamic is in society. As far as in America, we can talk as much shit as we want. Ain't none of us leaving America for a long time. We'll vacation to Cancun, we'll vacation or whatever, but we bringing our butts right back here. So if you want to change that dynamic for your children and your family, just educate them on things that need to be done better. That's all. That's all. We here, baby. I ain't going nowhere. I just hope that my sons and grandchildren, I'm not a grandparent, can just get to a better space, at least to a space where they can live out their lives peacefully without having to worry about other people, other community trying to put them down. Because we know other races, they protect their own first. So if we can learn that, I think we'll be in a better place. But right now, we just struggling.
I hear you. And thank you for coming up, and you're welcome anytime, Trey, okay? All right. My sister Chocolate, you brought it. You brought that smoke. And I love it. I love it. Yes, this is a channel that I advocate for men, but my sisters are always welcome because I need y'all. I need y'all too. You know, at the end of the day, I'm still a woman. You know,
right? Yeah, go ahead. I'm so sorry. No.
No. Go ahead. This is your final thought. I was just giving you your flowers and thanking you for coming and being you. because I want you to feel to be you. You know, and I try, and I've been checked. That's why I don't try to box things anymore in just the black community. Right. They said we don't mind what you're doing, but just change the verbiage. And I listen. I take constructive criticism. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I had to check it right away. It wasn't a gender thing, and it wasn't a black thing. It was a human thing. But go ahead. Give me your final thoughts and your takeaway.
All right. I will say this. Back to you, Grace. I know we've had few encounters with each other, and I don't have to agree with everything you say to respect what your thought process is. I'll say this. I have mad love for my people, period. And when I say my people, I'm talking about women. I'm talking about I so happen to be come from the culture of black folks. I might be called many, many things in this world, but that means I'm doing something. Because if you're worried about my business, then I'm doing something. But I will say this. One, back at you, R-Pain. Best believe Soap know how to get with me. I'm all down for the politics. We can get them gloves popping. But outside of that, right, I have mad respect for the men and women that come on in these spaces. It's hard to speak your mind. That takes courage, period. Whether people agree with me or not. It takes courage for you to say, you know, how you feel, because it may not be taken the way you think it's going to be taken, right? My takeaways always with any conversation is that I learned that whether I'm right and then I pat myself on the back like, yes, I'm correct, or I learned something from someone. You can learn something at any given moment. My brother said to me something really cool yesterday. He was just like, you can get your education from anybody in any situation. It depends on, you know, who you are and what you want to take from it. I want to see all people do better. I want to see people not go home and, you know, have to worry about whether their babies is going to eat or whether they can pay for their lights. I don't know how much change I'll be able to do before my time is up, but I'm gonna do everything I can because that's how my mother raised me. You know, and as I've become an adult and to the point of colorism, yes, I've dealt with it in my relationships, my friendships, my work, just in my life. Because yes, I've been told, you know, you don't sound black enough, and you don't look this way, or your hair ain't this, and on and on and on. And what I say nicely and sweetly with all my gap, I say, you can go on and fuck on with yourself. But what I say to that is that because I do love who I am. I love where I come from. You know, the good and the bad and indifferent has made me who I am now, and I still take that hopefully tomorrow I'll be a better person. So much love to all of you guys. You know what I mean? I think that it's great. Shout out to Soap. Shout out to Smitty. Shout out to Queen and Vaughn. Again, it takes a lot to share. It takes a lot to have and be able to be patient and learn and have that exchange of energy and not make it something negative. And that's all I have to say. Thank you,
Chocolate. And I hope you keep coming back, okay?
I'm trying. I've moved to the boonies, y'all. I live in the boonies. Like, outside is nothing but mountains. So I had to get in my car. So I'm gonna tell you, Grace, I had to come to get out in the cold and snow because I was so interested in what was being said.
Get you out the cold.
Yes.
I know that's right.
Listen, I don't want y'all to think I'm lying. I'm sitting here in the truck, y'all, with the heat on, okay?
I know that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, conversation so good it embraced her. Vaughn.
I see a husband in the
Vaughn, thank you so much for coming. You have become family because a family became family, and that's how it's supposed to be, through networking, creating a buffet so we can all eat. That is my mission. That's why I network with people. That's why I like working with people. But Vaughn, thank you for coming up and feeling comfortable enough to speak your piece. What can you take away from this conversation, and what are your final thoughts?
What I take. Oh, thank you for allowing me to come up. And Chocolate, it's good to see you back. It's good to glad that you let me be a part of the family. I just want to let you know I'm dark skinned though.
That's how I like them though. I like them dark though. That's right. But it's my preference.
You're right, Trey. You're right, Trey.
But look, I'm not gonna hate on Trey. Ain't you married? I can't talk to you. I don't see men who married. Yeah, no, I don't care what you is. I don't care.
I just want to get out there. Just want to let you know that I'm dark skinned.
Duly noted.
What I took away from the conversation was everybody's opinions and everybody's thoughts, which taught me a lot also. This was a great dialogue. It went many ways, which was very helpful and very uplifting. And I think we should have more of these dialogues, because more of these dialogues bring out information that we can take amongst ourselves and build on it and take it to our family and our culture to live in and uplift our culture. I know some people talk about leaders, but we are leaders within ourselves. We have the information. We can do what we waiting for, or what people want a leader to do. We can do it amongst ourselves and share it and uplift the community and get us out this colorism, prejudice, discrimination, racist things like that. And I think if we hold into our principles of what we learned from the past and the present and take that to the future and come together as one, there's nothing that we can do as a people. That's why I brought up Fred Hampton, what he did, how he brought people together and then sent them out throughout America and told them, hey, stop listening to that propaganda. Stop listening to that myth that the system is giving and trying to input to divide us. We need to come together as one to get out this heavy trials and tribulations that are upon us. And I think if we do that, we can accomplish every miracle which is needed for us to grow. And I appreciate everybody. I love all the information y'all shared today, and much love to all y'all brothers and sisters. And I would love to come back and see y'all again.
Absolutely, Vaughn. Absolutely. Miss Queen, I know you caught that tail end of the show. You were sitting in backstage for a minute, but I didn't even notice, and I apologize. So make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you know when I drop something, you'll be here early. But what say you? What are your final thoughts, and what's your takeaway from tonight's conversation?
That it's okay to, we experience the world through our lenses, and it's okay that there are different shades, different frames, different shapes. But, when we get in the business of always wanting to compare struggles, it's unnecessary. A struggle is a struggle. It doesn't matter if we all broke our arm. Don't matter if you fell down a flight of stairs. I fell off my bike. We all broke our arm. So that's the whole point. Like, we all have our struggles, races, everybody. But I think one thing I will say is that I do feel like the Black race is behind the 8 ball in a lot of situations. And, I was watching a TED Talk, and this woman, she was the head of diversity and inclusion really quickly at a tech company, and they gave, whenever she went to talk about every other race, they gave her whatever she wanted. Oh yes. But when it came to the Black race, the white execs always said, do you really need that? Do you really need that? And she was like, it's a lot deeper than people really think. And I think, when we want to backbite and this, men struggle, women struggle. But I would say out of all the strong men in the past, leaders, they had great women behind them. And real men celebrate that. They had a woman at home who supported, who ride or died for them. And so when we want to compare the genders, we need to look at those people and go, well, how did they do it? Because they had a supportive family and a supportive team. So I'm not your enemy. I'm your sister. Remember that. Wakanda for life. And I'm sorry.
And thank you so much. Don't forget to sub up, Queen, okay? All right, fam. So, how you doing? How you feeling? What is your final thought and takeaway from tonight's conversation?
Well, I'm eating dinner. I'm chilling.
I know you eating. I don't know. It's either at the beginning, in the middle, at the end of the show, but you gonna eat.
Good, man. We all got different stereotypes and different things we're going through. Let's just make sure we support each other through our struggles, and you know what I mean. Let's not be our own worst enemy, but understand that, you know what I mean, we are not the enemy of each other. You know what I mean. Let's not always characterize, things that we do or other people do without having the facts. That's what I'm gonna say. So much love. Thank y'all. God bless y'all. Good night.
Okay, guys, I actually write down my final thoughts too. I think everything out. But I do want to thank everybody for tonight's show. It was absolutely amazing. You guys got past me through my 2-hour threshold, and it's okay. I've learned that it's going to happen. That's why I don't schedule overtime or do anything in these certain nights that I do shows or I'm on a show. But with that being said, guys, colorism is another form of blatant racism, and if we expect white society to stop being racist, the melanated communities need to stop judging each other by the color of their skin tone. Part of the healing process, part of healing the world from colorism is just letting people know of color, just like we have control over how we design our profiles, who we follow, who we friend, and what we post on social media accounts. We can also have control over healing. We can be proactive and stop the BS. Stop co-signing to the BS. Accept yourself and other as God made them such. We most definitely can be proactive in nurturing the best in ourselves. Remember to pray and pray for each other and embrace each other. Guys, thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Look for the next topic next Thursday. And again, y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for coming out. Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all. Good night.
Later.